this. Fresh off the Palm Beach County, that's where I'm from. Where niggas get gunned down and left slung from. Thumbs up for fucking round. This ain't accounting for you bitches to come around.
What up? What up? And welcome to the unofficial podcast of the National Football League, the world-famous and critically acclaimed 5-6 Kings podcast. I'm David Breen. With me, as always, my dear friend and co-host, Braden Bullard. Braden, how are you, man?
I'm doing much better than last week. Funny enough, when I started watching the movie that we're going to be doing this week's episode on, The Exorcism of Emily Rose, I lost my voice, as we know from the post that we made. But I literally could not speak for a week. I sounded a little bit like Emily Rose in this movie. So now that I'm being better, I feel better and I'm doing better. How are you doing?
Doing well.
Yeah?
Doing well.
Because I know you had a sickness as well.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about my personal shit, you know? That's
okay.
my personal business. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to bring it on the podcast. You know,
Make
just,
everyone else,
I'm
yeah.
Here, I'm here just to have fun.
Yeah, that makes
You know?
sense.
I'm just here to have fun. Now, went to New Orleans. Still, regardless about what I'm about to tell you, still my favorite city on the planet.
It's a cool spot.
It's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best. It's old. The food's great. Homeless guy. I went a block onto Bourbon Street. Don't spend a ton of time on Bourbon Street, but like you have to walk down it once while you're there.
It's fucking crazy.
So there's two things that there are two. I don't care about your story.
Okay.
Oh, so let me tell you mine. Let me cut in and tell you my shit. I don't give a fuck about your shit. There's two things that always happen.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I don't know if they're homeless or if they're just out there working. You know, they're just wheeling and dealing on the streets. This guy tells me, happens every time you're there. They bet you $20 that they can tell you where you got your shoes.
Oh.
And then the thing, like, most people on Bourbon Street in New Orleans don't live in New Orleans.
Yeah.
That's not a thing. Like, if you live in New Orleans, you don't spend a ton of time going on Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
So the person will be like, no, I don't fucking live here. There's
Yeah.
no way you can. And they're like, all right, let's bet. And then they go, you got them on Bourbon Street right now. Like, you physically got them there. Like, that's where you have them at the moment.
Get it?
And then they're like, oh, yeah, good. Yeah. And then they're like, that'll be $20. And then you're in a tense, uncomfortable situation where you're like, shit.
I gotta walk away from here.
Oh, he's not letting you walk away.
Yeah.
He's not just like, all right, go about your day. He's in it.
Yeah.
He's getting that $20 or you are getting fucked up by this guy.
Yeah.
So I always say, he's like, hey, bet you I can tell you where you got your shoes. I say, I got them on Bourbon Street. And they go, damn. And then what normally happens.
You got me.
What normally happens is they'll just walk by. It sounds racist because they're black, but you don't know that they're black based off the story unless I tell you. So these white people, they all walk by. And they just casually offer you cocaine by saying phrases like, I got a good 8-ball.
Yeah.
That can mean anything.
Uh-huh.
If I'm a cop, they can be like, I'm the best pool player on Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
I am top notch.
Yeah.
But this trip, a young gentleman got up in my face like this. Not joking. Right up in my face and said, cocaine, blood. Try that shit before you buy it. And I just said, I'm good, man. Thanks. And then he kept walking.
Oh, my God.
That's my favorite interaction. Because it's normally casual. It's not aggressive, like, here's what I'm doing. I'm selling drugs. It's normally casual. They got deniability.
Yeah.
We're talking about 8-ball.
Yeah.
Cocaine, blood. Try it before you buy it. I was like, oh, man.
That's pretty wild.
But we're never going to talk about your story.
Yeah.
But so I had a whole thing. I was there for Thanksgiving. And I don't dislike Thanksgiving food. But we don't need to make a whole holiday about whatever food. Turkey's a sandwich meat. So I was like, my family were all coming up with the menu, and I said, I'm going to bring a beef tenderloin.
Yeah.
Great cut of meat. Great, fantastic cut of meat. So I got one in New Orleans the night before, salt and pepper, put it in the fridge uncovered. And I was like, this is gonna be so good. I'm gonna take it out tomorrow. I'm gonna let it sit at room temp for a little bit. I'm going to sear it. I'm going to make this. I was like, I'm going to get some garlic and some rosemary and some butter. Like, going to make a whole thing to put on. It's going to be so fucking great.
Chef Boyardee Breen for
Fish. Oh, that was good. That was good. The issue is I went and got a po' boy the afternoon before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Normally, po' boy, go fried oyster, go fried shrimp.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong. I went hot roast beef. Went hot roast beef, and I planned on getting it on just a roll, like a hamburger bun. So that was the option. I wasn't starving, but I was like, went to my favorite po' boy place there, and I was like, I gotta get a po' boy.
Gotta get that
one
protein
here.
in.
Yeah, I don't know when I'm gonna get it. I'm just gonna get the round one. I get to the counter, and I order hot roast beef one, which I've never done before. And the guy said, all right, do you want it 8-inch or 14-inch? And then because I'm a psycho, and I didn't want to disappoint the guy at the counter.
You never met.
Yeah. Because I wanted it on the round roll. I was like, I'm going to get on the round roll. And he said, do you want it 8 or 14-inch? Round roll was not an option in that guy's world. And I said, I can't be a bitch. I can't be like, oh, you only gave me 2 options, but I want the smaller one. I said 8-inch because I was not disappointing him. Got a few bites into the po' boy, and I was like, this doesn't taste great. But I bought the po' boy. I'm going to eat the po' boy. Did that night, middle of the night, after post dressing up the beef tenderloin, being all excited. Middle of the night, wake up, and it's just violently expelling from both ends. And I was like, man, I don't think I'm cooking that beef tenderloin tomorrow. Other than that, incredible trip.
Nice.
I love New Orleans. Favorite place in the world. Never been to New Orleans. Go to New Orleans. Cocaine blood. Try it before you buy it. Don't engage with the people. And I love, like, I've brought up the bet I can tell you where you got your shoes, and people have been like, oh, I would just do that. I would say this to the guy. Like, I'd be like, no, that's not. Why?
Yeah.
Who the fuck wants to engage with these people? That guy is making $20 nonsense bets with strangers, and he's confident he's collecting that money. I don't want to talk to him.
Yeah.
I just say I got him on Bourbon Street, and I keep fucking walking.
After I saw a few dudes just taking a piss right on Bourbon Street.
I thought we said we weren't going to talk about your experience.
Well,
in New
that's
Orleans.
all. That's all.
This is your experience. We aren't going to discuss that.
Ah, okay. Well, back to another point. I think the dude was he was trying to screw you over. I think he knew he had 8 inches of bad roast beef, and he was like, you know what? I'm just gonna give it to this dude who wants to be my little bitch by accepting 8 inches.
I mean, he nailed it. He found the right target.
And look,
yeah, he knew he made those 2 offers, and I was not. I didn't. When he said, "Do you want it 8 or 14?" The idea of me getting it on a round roll completely went out the window in my book. I could not say round roll to that guy.
God, I hope he's not watching this, because if he is watching this, he's probably just like, yes!
I hope he is.
Yes!
I hope he does that to more people. I hope that becomes this guy's thing.
Yeah.
And someone says round roll, and he's like, really? You want a fucking round roll? Come on, man. What are you, 7? I'm gonna give you an 8-inch, and you're just gonna eat it, all right? That's what I hope happens.
Welcome to the big leagues.
Yeah, force that.
You'll
find another reference later.
Okay.
That one's too.
Welcome to the big leagues.
That one's too forced.
True.
All right.
Because I mean yeah. Roast beef, big leagues, yeah, makes sense.
Well, because you're doing the South Park reference.
Yeah.
And it's a stretch to force it there.
No, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll get there.
Oh, yeah.
There's gonna be plenty of spots here.
Well, thank you. I
We'll make
appreciate
it
that.
happen.
Now my confidence is back to hit another punchline.
There we go. Yeah. There we go.
Oh, guys. David, how do you feel after watching this movie?
I went into this annoyed that this was your pick.
Okay.
Being like, I don't want to watch this fucking movie. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be particularly scary. I don't watch horror movies because, not like, oh, I'm this big badass and I don't get scared by stuff. But, like, it's a movie.
No, yeah.
So for, like, a horror movie, I know it's not going to scare me.
Yeah.
Like, realistically. And, like, I'm not big on, like, something might jump out at me. I might be like, oh, shit, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
But that's not particularly fun. It's not why I watch movies.
I agree.
this was not that. I was pleasantly surprised watching this movie.
Which is one reason why I actually enjoy this kind of horror flick, whatever, scary movie. Because most scary movies, like you're saying, they just try to force the pop-ups and force too many things that are trying to be creepy when, to me, it doesn't seem realistic. And I'm all about realism. And the fact that they made this, one, it was based on a true story, but the fact that it was pretty realistic in the way that they portrayed it, showed it, and the fact that it was centered around like a courtroom rather than the victim in itself, I feel like brought more of a realistic aspect that made it seem more scary. But it's not in particularly that scary. It's just more the fact of like playing on the way that you believe or not into these things is kind of like, I feel like, the scary part. Like, it's making you question even if you don't, like, do I? And I feel like that in itself, even more so than there's not pop-ups or anything, but that in itself to me is more scary than a lot of these horror films that are just like pop-ups.
Yeah, or is this shit possible?
Yeah.
Like, could this happen to somebody?
And this is a big thing for me too. Let's say you don't believe that you could be possessed. Okay, well, it's still scary to think that someone could end up in the type of mental state that this woman...
Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is that it was based on a true story, on a literal real-life exorcism and death and trial of Anneliese Mitchell in West Germany in 1976. And it was still based around the trial being about the priest's negligence. And that's what this whole movie is like centered around. And they try to figure out whether or not the priest is guilty or not. But I do want to put in at some point in here, and I guess now that I'm bringing it up, I could put it in here. So I might pause it here and put in a video like in the editing of the actual recordings of the real exorcisms of this girl. I mean, dude, the what's crazy about this is like she literally is changing tongues. She is changing languages. She and like, yes, this is based out of Germany, and one of the languages she speaks is German. Not in the movie, but in real life.
Motherfucker, you speak German, don't you?
I
Speak it. I just can't read that shit all that good.
I speak it. I just can't read that shit all that good.
There we go.
Yeah.
Comment below if you know what I was just quoting.
Let us know.
It was a good poll. It was a deep poll. Braden doesn't know what we're doing right now, but how long is it? Because that's the thing.
Oh, it's not that long. I'll just put in like a clip of it. I won't put in like the whole thing, but it'll just show that one, she was aware. So like the way that they were talking from like the priest to her, she was aware of what was being said to her. She was replying back with remarks as if she was the devil, and certain other demons that she was saying she was that were like in actual scripture in the Bible or something like that. And
is it a YouTube video?
Yeah.
Let's put a link in the description.
Yeah. Okay.
I want people to have the option whether or not they listen to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
instead of it just playing on the audio here.
Yeah.
There's going to be a link in the description. Click on it if you want to hear it.
Yeah.
I didn't hear it. I want to.
It's fucking it's fucking scary. And just to go on a little bit more, she in real life, it went on for about 10 months where she was doing exorcisms, and they did up to 67 exorcisms that apparently took up to around 4 hours on like average, to where she is just in a different fucking mental state where she believes or is a fucking demon. And she's just going on and on with the awareness of what the priest is saying to her.
So, guys, we're going to pause this right now. I want to hear some of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll be right back. And we're back.
We're back.
Hey, Derek Jeter, fuck you. Your fucking hot-ass wife and your 3 slutty little daughters. Fuck all of you. Fuck the Jeter family.
Yeah.
The whole lot of you. And the Jeep Wagoneer. Fuck it all.
Tell him, David.
Don't tell me. Tell him.
Okay.
Do you think I wasn't going to tell him?
I was just trying to
be
be the hype man.
Did you think if you weren't like, yeah, man, tell him, I was going to be like, no, I'm sorry, Derek Jeter.
No, I just want
You're
them to know
probably a good guy, and it's wrong of me to bring your wife and daughters into this based off of you ruining the Miami Marlins franchise. Did you think that was the route I was going to go if you weren't like, tell him? Think I needed your fucking reassurance? You're fucking nothing to me, all right, man? Okay. I don't need shit from you.
Hey, bro.
Yeah, the audio's pretty weird. It's pretty weird, yeah.
Like she's staying on conversation about everything church related and
fucking rosary
Yeah,
and
and
shit and
trying to reach as many people as possible, and like there's an awareness to the conversation that's being held, and I don't know if that was German or fucking ancient Hebrew. I have no fucking idea.
or Latin
Or Latin.
or Aramaic.
Yeah. I have no idea.
I don't know either. I don't know my languages.
But you guys, if you know it, let us know what
Brayden-
language that is.
Brayden will have the link in the description if you guys want to listen to it.
Yeah, definitely check it out. But fuck, dude.
All right, want to talk money?
Yeah, David. Oh man, just get me off of this fucking demon train. Let me talk some money.
So the budget was $20 million.
God damn it, David.
Was it 20 million?
It's 19.
Damn it! I think they made a profit. I remember this. I remember seeing commercials all the time for this. I don't know, would they make 50?
More.
There we go. Like a ton more, like a weird amount, like like 180 million.
145 million.
There we go. Good. If they happy with that?
They better fucking
They
be.
happy with that, Brayden? Yeah. Good for them.
I wonder if now, like, after like the success of that movie, I wonder if like the investors in the church were having like some weird conversations, or or like investors and like producers were like trying to get the church to make more movies like this just because of the profit, and they were like, nah, you guys are making us look bad.
So I don't think they need the church to make more movies like this.
That's a good point.
I think, yeah, they could have just decided. And also, what year did this movie come out?
Was it 2005?
Yeah,
I was going to say 4.
I mean, that's 17 years ago. Have there been other Exorcist movies?
Totally, but not to this kind of degree, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there's always going to be a step down, but that's...
Yeah.
And I wonder, could have done the looking into it, if you're bringing this weird question to us. Like, I wonder if it's the same studio and if they made multiple...
Well, it's Sony, and I mean, yeah, they've definitely made other ones. And the same director has made, and writer has made other movies that...
Yes, there we go. They
that are,
don't need to involve the church with it.
True, but
Look when this movie came out. Ain't that some shit?
Huh. What?
9/11.
Oh!
Ain't that some shit?
God damn.
God, they made $30 million opening weekend U.S. and Canada. So, like, right off the bat, an $11 million profit.
Can you imagine?
Over
Just
the
in
course of
3
just-
days.
Of course, 2 countries. They're fucking rubbing the money over them. All right, let's talk reviews. Let's talk ratings. What do the folks have to say about this?
Well, David, IMDb give it a 6.7 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes give it a 44%. Metacritic gave it a 46%. And Google users gave it a 79%.
So that doesn't surprise me that people would go either like or dislike this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a movie where I'm like, yeah, it's people who either very much believe that people can be possessed and you need God to get them out and all that shit would go like it, and people are like, it's bullshit that can never happen, would go thumbs it down.
Yeah.
This is this is maybe the only exception for a movie that we've done so far where I'm like, yeah, it makes sense to me that people are going on Google and doing it. It's ridiculous that they're doing it.
They might just have something against the religion.
Yeah, it's ridiculous that people do it.
Yeah.
But it makes sense to me that it's happening.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
This is more of a... It could be more of like a controversial view in certain ways,
For sure.
Yeah.
What do you give it?
Now rewatching it, I feel like I remember even more crazy stuff happening, but at the same time, it's not like you need a crazy amount of stuff. They hone in on the things that did happen, or, well, in the way that they're portraying, the real life story. I felt like this is one of the only horror movies and scary movies in general that has ever made a lasting impression on me. But
What about Jurassic Park 3?
oh yeah, that's
You
right.
had to hug your uncle.
Yeah, fuck.
Fucking gay wad.
But I give this movie a 7.3. 7.3. I felt like it's not like a spectacle when it comes to filmmaking or cinema or anything like, or like film in general. Like there's no crazy shots or anything, but the acting, superb. Like, dude, forget her name right now, but
Deborah Morgan.
But yeah. But the girl that portrays
Deborah Morgan.
Oh, that is her name? I thought it was.
No, but that's the character she played in the show Dexter, and that's all that matters.
Oh, that's where you're going.
Yeah, I don't care what the actor. She was married to Michael C. Hall in real life. I never learned her real name.
I haven't seen her in Dexter, but a little fun fact was she never left this genre. She went straight into Dexter. I don't know if that's like an accurate depiction of like the way they worded it, but like she never left this whole like a horror genre.
This is very different from Dexter.
That's what I was assuming.
0 points watching this was I like, this is just like Dexter.
Yeah, or like she never left a crazy kind of role.
Just that actress.
Yeah.
Was from Dexter.
But she did an amazing fucking job, dude.
Give it a 7.3.
You gave it a 7.3?
You did.
Yes.
Yeah.
What did you give it?
No matter what, I was giving the movie this because I told you you're not allowed to.
I get
this
it.
Movie gets a 6.9, guys. But I think that's because that's around where I would rate it. It's not amazing. It's not a movie I'm going to watch multiple times.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised with it, though.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was not excited about watching it. I was like, whatever, we'll do the fucking thing. I'll find a way to make it funny.
Mm-hmm.
But very happy with what we got to watch.
Nice. Glad to hear that, bud.
So you think it's only 0.4 better than Dawn of the Dead?
Yeah, and not because it's not
that's the issue with your rating. Dawn of the Dead was dog shit.
Well, Dawn of the Dead was just it's a fun movie. It's not going to leave like a lasting impression. But at the same time, this movie wasn't like you were captivated because you wanted to see what the fuck ends up happening. But there's times where it gets a little caught up in the courtroom where you kind of where I could see.
So that's where we differ.
You really like
my favorite scenes were in the courtroom.
There were a lot of funny disses in the courtroom.
Yeah, the courtroom. The fucking state prosecutor is fantastic.
Yeah,
I love that man.
Yeah, they even say he's like, that's a. I mean, they didn't say this, but basically he's a tough cookie in the courtroom. He might be he might be religious, but he does not hold back.
He's a tough cookie.
Yeah, he's a tough cookie. I mean, tough cookies, you could break a fucking tooth on that.
Tough cookies are fucking the worst.
The worst. But yeah, I mean, I felt like, I don't know, like you could have touched a little bit more on like Emily Rose, but at the same time, like the court scenes were, I felt like for me just slightly drawn out, but at the same time they were good. There was lines that were a little snippy that kind of kept you in there.
I really liked how this movie isn't like I thought it was going to be like in real life. In real life, she had 67 exorcisms over the course of 10 months. I thought it was just going to be exorcism after exorcism. Instead, it's basically the story of what happened after she died.
Yeah.
Which, spoiler alert, first scene of the movie, they're like, hey, she's dead. First scene, they're like, Emily's dead.
Yeah, no beating around the bush.
Like immediately they're like, okay, great, let's see what happens now. And I enjoyed that.
And when I was reading, there was two writers, and the director was also a writer, but there was another writer that the director said helped him balance out because one was religious and one wasn't as much, and one was
a Jew.
Yeah.
And as we know, Jews write the best movies.
They really do.
But far and away, the best.
Yeah,
the Coen brothers, they don't miss.
Come on.
They don't fucking miss.
Yeah, so, I mean, the movie was very realistic, once again, and that I feel like that was, like, the strongest point for me about the way that they filmed this. But it wasn't, like, anything crazy going on with, like, the shots or anything that would...
Did they win any awards?
Oh, David. They won 4 awards, and they had 9 nominations.
What'd they win?
So they won Best Horror Film at the Saturn Awards. Good for them. The Academy of Science Fiction.
Saturn
Fantasy.
is a planet.
Yes. They won. David, you're right. That is a planet. They also won
the sixth planet from the sun.
I was like, where's he going with this?
Why is he counting?
They won best
Sixth planet from the sun. 666, sign of the devil. Had they not won the Saturn Award, I would have been livid.
Jesus, that's a good point.
I mean,
David.
it added up too well.
Yeah. But they won the best horror at the Golden Trailer Awards. So they won the best horror award at the Golden Trailer Awards.
Trailer can be like, it could be like a mobile home, like you can live in it. It can also, you can have a trailer that you hook up to your truck and you put like your boat.
Oh, yep.
Or at work, we have a bunch of canoes that we have on a trailer that we go canoeing at work.
Look at that. So many purposes for that
summer
word.
camp I work at.
Next, thank you for that, David. Next, they won Best Frightened Performance and got the MTV Movie Award at the MTV Movie and TV Awards. Jennifer Carpenter. She was the one that portrayed Emily Willis. Or Emily, is that a porn star? Oops.
Deborah Morgan is who played Emily Rose.
Oh.
And MTV stands for Music Television. It was groundbreaking at the time, where they were showing music on television. There's music videos. TRL was Destination Television. And now they're kind of just known for like they have reality shows that are like just shitty people, but they're the best.
Yeah.
I never watched Jersey Shore, but I get it. I get the appeal. I watched The Challenge like a motherfucker. You ever watch The Challenge?
No.
It's just awful people.
But I did watch Jersey Shore.
Awful people just screwing each other. Why'd you lie about watching Jersey Shore?
I've seen an episode.
You're like, I did watch Jersey Shore. And you're like, I didn't really watch Jersey Shore. Sorry, I lied. The Challenge it's the best.
Yeah.
It's so fucking good.
Is it kind of like when that show would...
I doubt it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what? Let's hear it.
The one where Joe Rogan was... he was the
Fear
host
Factor?
of it. But it wasn't... I don't think it was Fear Factor, though. I thought it was another one that he did after that.
Game Show in My Head. I think those are the only two shows
might have
he's
been
ever
it,
hosted. Very different.
Okay.
Very different. Challenge. It's all people from like The Real World and Road Rules, and now they have people from Survivor and Big Brother, and they all live in a house. It's a who's who of reality game show people.
Oh, nice.
And they just live in a house, and they compete for... It's a lot of money now, but in the past, it was like 5 of you are going to win your share of $25,000, and after taxes, you're getting like $2,700, and they would screw each other the fuck over.
How long did this fucking thing go on for?
Weeks. Yeah. Too long for that amount of money.
Yeah.
But and they would just screw each other the fuck over and fist fight. Everyone's fucking. It's the
fun.
best, guys. If you haven't watched The Challenge on MTV, go check it out.
There you go. But they also won Breakout Performance at the Scream Awards, Jennifer Carpenter.
So Scream is it's kind of like yelling. You raise your voice to a certain decibel level, and you scream. Oftentimes you're frightened. Sometimes you're angry. Sometimes you're at a game and you're just screaming. You're like, "Let's go Dolphins!" Boom, 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 boom. And you're like, "Yo, fuck you, refs, you suck. Refs, you suck. Ref, you suck." Like that's a scream. It's just raising it past a certain decibel level. It was also a movie with
that's right.
We did it on the first Halloween. We didn't do any. Real quick, we're gonna do some Christmas movies. I realized recently we did no Halloween movie.
We didn't.
We did. I mean, I guess we did Dawn of the Dead around that time, maybe.
Yeah,
but not really. Not by design. It might have even been House of the Dragon at that time. We did no Thanksgiving movie.
Yeah.
We're gonna do the fuck out of Christmas. Don't worry, guys.
Yeah, Christmas all fucking
we're
month.
Gonna do Christmas through the roof. But Scream, the slasher movie.
Yes.
It was a huge movie. They made a bunch of sequels.
Oh,
You've seen it.
You've seen The
heard of it.
Mask. Everyone wears it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We got anything else?
No, that's it. They knocked it out the park. That's what they did. Guys, and she has a phenomenal screen. I mean, so fun fact.
Deborah Morgan.
Since we're talking about screams too, with that actress, she actually got hired for this role right off of her audition. And in the audition, the director said that she was like so scary because the first scream she did, which we end up seeing in a scene, which I'll bring it up when we get there, she doesn't scream. She goes, and she doesn't scream. And when she does that, the director was like, that scared the fuck out of me, because she's looking at me like it's just she's the devil, like screaming, but there's nothing coming out.
That is so much scarier if you see someone, like someone's angry and they're shaking and like they're looking like they're screaming, but they don't let it out.
Yeah.
That is so much scarier than if someone just screams.
Right, bro?
Yeah. Like
She just
get the fuck away from the person who's internalizing the scream but letting you see it on their face. Fuck that.
That must be deep.
Get the fuck out of it.
Yeah, that's dark. But yeah, so I'm not gonna fucking stop on Deborah Morgan.
Yeah.
Deborah Morgan's
You're not gonna
performance.
Stop on it.
Well, on how good her performance was. I got caught up on the name because we're going to Dexter, and I don't know Dexter.
But what do you mean stop?
What do you mean?
You said you're not gonna stop
About her performance, like talking about how great she did in her performance.
Oh yeah, she was great.
Yeah,
she was very good.
yeah.
Very good.
Love
the actress. Hate her character on Dexter.
Now I need to see it. There's all this talk.
You need to.
I need to watch all of
I've been telling
Dexter.
you for years. You need to watch. Yeah, all of it.
Yeah.
Seasons 1 through 8.
There you go.
You need to. So Dexter, they did like a sequel series, and I don't know if there's going to be more. They've done a season. That was great. So it makes, at the time, if you were watching Dexter before that came out, I would tell you, you could probably stop after season 4. Because that's the best that happens.
Yeah.
Season 4. Seasons 5 through 8 are fine.
Okay.
They're fine. At times, they're very good.
Yeah.
But all in all, they're fine.
Like, you feel like after season 4, they just wanted to start drawing it out. Like, how many seasons can we get?
Season 4 was fantastic. And but so was Dexter New Blood, which is the series they came out with like a year ago.
Mm.
That makes watching 5 through 8 worth it.
Mm.
Yeah. Watch it all.
Do you think...
Watch it all and report
Since we're still talking about Dexter, do you think she carried anything from this role to that role?
I don't know.
Like, does anything stick out to you?
No, not really.
I wonder why they put it as like a fun fact.
Because they're
just looking. They're searching.
just fucking Hollywood being Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
You know how it is.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We're gonna take a quick break, so it's easier for Braden to edit this video once we're done recording.
That's goddamn right, David.
But stick around. We're gonna dive into the script. Braden's doing it this time, so it's gonna be a lot of. It's gonna be a lot of. I love how like we were talking about it earlier, but I'm still gonna shit on you for it. It's gonna be a lot of like. And he said why, and then she said this, and he said okay, and she said yeah because this, and then he was like okay, well I can do that then. So stick around because it's gonna be really fun.
Thanks.
And we're back. Hey, Derek Jeter. Fuck you.
Yeah,
Fuck the Grand Wagoneer. Fuck your hot wife. Fuck your slutty little daughters.
Just a perfect fucking life. So, guys, we open up Exorcism of Emily Rose. We fucking see... First, we hear some screams, and we hear her sister or someone say, Emily! And we see like a quick shot of a barbed wire fence with some blood dripping from it. And then we see we come to find out is the medical examiner walking up to Emily Rose's house. I mean, we see that we're on a farm. It's like in the winter. It's fucking creepy out. It's a very shitty house. And he knocks on the door. No one answers. He looks up. Who do we see come out the fucking window? Look out the window. General Cornwallis. I'm sorry. General Lord Cornwallis.
General Cornwallis.
Yeah.
That works. That works.
Try to be as proper as possible.
He doesn't need his Lord title. We get it.
But we see him look out the window. There's fucking cats and a beehive and shit. It's supposed to be all creepy. And then Emily's mom opens up, not the front door where he knocked. I don't know if you noticed that, but the side door. And was like, you're here. Thank God. Come in. And he comes in, just sees everyone is distraught. So there's like Emily's friend, Jason, her sisters. She's got 3 sisters. Her father, the mom, and, you know, he asks, like, Mr. Rose. He doesn't answer. He's distraught, just holding, like, I guess Emily's old fucking toy. Walks upstairs to go into Emily's room. Out walks General Cornwallis, and there's also another police officer in there. He comes back down and basically states that, you know, sorry to say, Mr. Rose, but I can't say that your cause of your daughter's death is natural. And basically now they're at the point where they're going to arrest the father, General Cornwallis.
He's not the father.
Yeah, he's just General.
He's the priest. So General Cornwallis is the priest.
But they also refer to him as the father.
Yeah, but he's a priest.
Yeah.
You say the father, it makes it seem like Emily's dad is getting arrested.
No, yeah.
Because because the dad's there.
Yeah.
The priest gets arrested.
Yeah. And there's a cop with them, and as the cop is like, okay, General Cornwallis, you're going to have to come with me. As he's saying this, he looks out from Emily's living room and sees into the barn that there's like a black figure that like kind of walks out like inside of the barn. Like you kind of just see it for like a split second.
General Cornwallis sees this, not the cop.
Yeah, and he's just fucking startled. And they're like, hey, General Cornwallis. So then eventually he comes back to it, and they end up taking him, arresting him. And then we cut to him walking into the courthouse. And what's funny is everyone's talking shit. The news anchor's talking like throughout the film. Like a lot of people.
Of course they are.
Yeah, that's what.
Of course they are. This priest murdered that girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is what sells.
Yo, yeah.
That is what's a fucking priest killed a 19-year-old girl.
Yeah.
It is his fault. They're not going to be like, oh, man, I can't imagine being in his shoes. This must be rough. Like, that's not what they're going to say.
No, yeah. And, as this news anchor is talking shit,
Could you imagine if that's what it was? They're like, yeah, man, it's really tough for him. Like, he cared about that girl. Like, I can't imagine going through what he's going through right now. Like, this must be hard. No one would watch that news.
No,
would be like, fuck these people.
Well, and even like the people on to the side, not even just the news anchor, is like, General Cornwallis, what was the cause of death? Why did you kill her? Why didn't you notify? Like they're all just everyone's like spouting shit.
Because they want a quote.
Yeah.
they want him to be like, fuck you.
Yeah.
That's what they're hoping. They're hoping
that's...
they get the priest to be like, man, fuck out of my face with this shit.
What?
That's because that's best case scenario for that reporter.
Yeah.
Not like, hey man, it must be really hard. Good luck with everything you're going through right now.
Yeah.
No, they wanna antagonize him, poke the bear, and then be like, you know what, man, fuck you. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That's what they want. And then they're like, yes,
give it to me. Show me the devil.
Go.
So like as you hear the news anchor and people like talking shit to him as he's being brought into the court, we end up hearing like random people start talking. We come to find out it's like what is this, like a team of lawyers who are like helping choose.
It's the state prosecutors. They're trying to figure out, it's the higher ups there. They're trying to figure out who should try the case.
Yeah. And they're basically going on about how, that they're not talking to the police. How do we charge them? Like, who should we get on the case? And they end up picking this guy named Ethan Thomas. And it's funny because one guy goes, he's like, oh, that guy is a shrewd bastard.
That's not what he said. He said he's a real tough cookie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
How the fuck would you not say that right now?
How
the fuck would you would you say what they actually said instead of your tough cookie comment?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
He's a tough cookie.
Because he's a tough cookie.
They're smart about it, though.
Yeah.
They said we want to get someone who goes to church, so they can't be like, well, that guy doesn't like priests. They're like, we want a churchgoer who's a good lawyer, and they're like, we got the perfect one.
Yeah.
And they fucking nailed this pick.
Oh, they fucking did. What was I going to say? So now, I forgot what I was going to say for that, but we ended up seeing Janet from Primal Fear. Is that who you were going to
Janet Venable.
Is that who you were going to say?
Or Wendy Bird.
Or Wendy Bird.
Either one
Ozark.
of those two. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, too.
Either one of those two.
Because she fucking kills it.
Because here's the thing. I knew the name Wendy Bird. I had to look up.
Me too.
Yeah.
Because they don't really use the name that much.
Miss Venable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think we go Wendy Bird.
I think we go Wendy Bird, too.
She's Wendy Bird.
Wendy Bird from Ozark.
You don't say from Ozark. Just Wendy Bird.
Okay, yeah. She's at what
Marty
is...
Bird's wife.
Yes, that is true. She's at a bar, and she basically gets called over to a group of guys, which the way that they call her over is it's just like, hey.
Get over. It's the partners in the law firm she works for.
Yeah. And it's like a group of older guys, and they're basically just like impressed because we come to find out that she had done a case recently by this guy named James Van Hopper, who she ended up getting off and being a free man, and they're basically just like bragging about her.
So the case just ended, and they're like, hey, good fucking job on that case. There we go. They're giving her an attaboy.
Yeah.
It's good for her. Who doesn't want that from their boss?
Yeah. And then the main boss is like, all right, come over here. I need to talk to you alone. And then as he's talking alone, he's basically trying to get her to accept this case. And she doesn't want to do it because she doesn't want to look like, especially after what she just did in this other case, she doesn't want this to bring her down. But he's like, no. This is going to bring you up. Hey, you're a rising star.
He said she doesn't want to take this because it's a angels and demons nonsense case. She's like, it's fucking no, I don't want to take this. The priest isn't going to fucking win. All right, I'm going to look ridiculous defending him. And he says, take this and win, and I'll make you partner.
Yeah, and he's also saying the archdiocese specifically asked for you because they think
crushed it.
Yeah, because you crushed
that
it.
Last case.
Yeah, and they think you're gonna like help get him off. But this is the main thing, right? You're a rising star. You're gonna keep rising, but under no circumstance do you allow him to testify. Because basically the archdiocese is telling him that they want her to make him not testify so that he doesn't make the church look a certain way.
They don't trust him. They don't want him going on the stand and saying a bunch of exorcism shit.
Yeah, and they think that she is...
They want him to agree to a plea deal.
Yeah. And they think that she is clever enough to be able to get him to renegotiate a new plea deal because he is not accepting the one that they've given him. So already we've come to find out that she's a successful lawyer and she's going to be taking on this case. What is great is that she also killed this fucking role. I don't know what you thought about.
I thought she was very good. I thought the other lawyer was very good. General Cornwallis was good. This is a very well acted movie.
Yeah. So then we basically that this is a big thing I wanted to say about this scene. In the middle of their talking back and forth about this shit, he orders a drink. She changes the drink that she ordered for him to like a dry martini. The martini, the drinks are like placed down, and they continue the conversation, and then she just leaves. She doesn't touch the martini. she like makes a point to be like, no, I don't want that drink. I want this drink, and then just like does not drink it at all. Does not even take a sip.
There we go. She's got this new case she's got to go fucking work on.
Yeah.
She's like, all right, you know what? Fuck you. You're going to pay for that martini that no one's going to touch.
Yeah.
Who's calling?
I don't know, dude. Doesn't say the name, but if I don't know the number by heart, it's not important enough, David.
There we go.
I know your number by heart.
There we
Big
go.
guy.
I know you do.
Yeah. I'm not going to say it here because I don't want you guys blowing up my buddy David's phone, but so next scene, once when she leaves,
I feel like 90% of our listeners have my phone number.
Probably.
I feel pretty confident that most of the people listening right now have my number already. I still don't want you to say it.
Yeah. But maybe I should.
Where are we at?
So she goes to General Cornwallis's jail cell. It's because you're always like the priest, like in your mind, and like, no, it's General Cornwallis. What the fuck am I talking about? So she goes to General Cornwallis's jail cell, and she starts to. The first thing she comes in, he is just not giving a fuck about her. Like he's just laid up and.
There was a chair in there. He was like, that chair was for my public defender, but I guess they sent you instead. She introduced herself and says what law firm. And he's like, I was going to have a public defender. And she's like, yeah, I heard about that. The archdiocese decided differently.
Yeah. So she fucking sits in that chair, which is, I don't know. Because like he's just not giving a shit. But the moment that he hears that the archdiocese sent her, he sits right the fuck up. He's like, oh yeah, absolutely. And then like,
nah, not really.
Well, he addresses her.
He's just like, all
he's
right,
like,
whatever.
I knew someone was sent.
He knows the archdiocese went and got him a lawyer, and he's like, I'm not gonna like sit here and be like, well, I don't give a fuck, leave me alone, like whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was a little upset because he even said before, he's like they finally gave me food or something once when they realized I wasn't like suicidal. Like he's probably pretty bent out of shape the way everyone's been treating him from.
Yeah.
Like so,
they let him have the chair when they realized he wasn't suicidal.
That's what it was. Yeah, that makes sense. But he asked her, like, why did you choose this case? And she was like, I wanted this case. She was like, and he's like, what, you wanted celebrity? And she was like, no, I wanted to become the senior partner at my firm.
She's spot on. She's honest with him immediately. She's like, if I win this case, I'm a fucking partner in my firm.
And he starts to ask her, like, are you Catholic? And she's like, no, I'm agnostic. And they kind of go into the beliefs a little bit. And I love it because he, like, cares about this case, but he doesn't really give a shit about, like, the case per se. He's made his, how do I say, he's made his, like, comfortable, like, okay with he's okay with he's made his peace.
He makes it very clear this whole scene. He's not gonna agree to a plea deal.
Yeah.
He wants to go to trial. He wants to tell Emily's story, and he's not unwilling to budge on that.
Yeah. And she's trying to kind of build, like, some connection by not telling him that she's not going to have him testify and stuff like that. So she's like, okay, I'll allow that just as long as you allow me to do whatever it takes to win. And they basically come to like a deal about it. But what's also great is the fact he's not trying to stay, like, on the case, like, oh, how do we win this case? It's just about, like you said, telling Emily's story, but also you got to be prepared.
It's about pussy.
Yeah, it's about pussy because you better be prepared because there's going to be some attacks on that pussy. Some demon attacks.
Yeah. He doesn't say that here.
Well, yeah, he doesn't say that, but he's just like...
Not the pussy thing. He does.
No, I know about about the attacks, but he does, like, somewhat warn her in, like, a way. Not about, like, attacks, but just being like this is a spiritual battle. Like the whole thing in itself is like a spiritual battle. But yeah, so they kind of, like, ended there. Let's see. David, help me out. Where are we going to next?
But I love looking at your, like pay attention as we're doing this. Because this is for yourself.
No, I know.
We aren't really going off of your notes.
Yeah.
So just pay attention to that when you're taking notes for the next movie and be like, I don't need to spend all this fucking time doing this.
I know, dude.
Yeah, because we don't, like, we're not, he replies no, and she goes, like, all right, well then, like we're never going to do it that way.
No.
Yeah. As I'm saying this, you should be finding where we're at in the movie.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Man, I think I went a little too fucking ahead.
There we go. Well, let's go back.
Well, let's just pause it here. I'm going to find it, and I'll come back.
I mean, let's come on, just find it.
Oh, David.
Just like, I got to stand up and go do that. Let's go. Scroll up. Venable, she left. Oh, yeah, about my reputation. I'm not afraid of jail. All right, we're still there. He replies, what really happened? She says, he replies, no. She goes, all right, then. It's, and then pauses, and then nods. Jesus Christ, this is crazy. We cut to Emily Rose's house. There we go. It's right there, right in the middle. We're at Emily Rose's house.
Yeah.
Wendy Bird.
No, that's what it was. Yeah. So
Wendy Bird's at Emily's house talking to the family.
Yeah.
There's, like, for this house is a nightmare. There's like 80 cats there.
Yeah.
To the point where the mom has to address it.
Yeah, and she's immediately like, I'm sure you're not used to a strange place like this. I'm sure our life is very strange to you. And then immediately pushes a cat off the table and starts to go on about how she has 11 cats and about how Emily always had, like, a thing for strays and just, like, how she
brought a bunch of strays home and then she went to fucking college and left all of her cats here.
Yeah.
So we're just dealing with cats all the time.
Sounds
That's
like
our fucking life. She brings all these cats and then she's like, all right, later.
Yeah.
You'll take care of the cats, right? You'll take care of the stray cats that I brought from off the street. Fuck her.
Yeah.
Emily deserves everything that happened to her. And if Annalise, whatever the hell, really did this, Annalise, whatever the hell, deserved everything that happened to her.
There you go.
All right? Bringing in all these cats and then being like, that's your problem. I'm going to go.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get fucking laid in college. All right? You take care of the cats.
Yeah.
Fuck her.
And this is a cat lady kind of conversation that they're having here because Ozark fucking mom, Jesus Christ, why can't I
Wendy Bird, Janet Venables.
I'm thinking,
pick
yeah,
one.
I know.
Pick
I'm
one.
thinking Janet from Primal Fear, but
whatever's easier for you. I'll roll with it.
She asks, like, what has Emily been like a happy girl? Like, what kind of started this? And she was like, yeah, she's been happy until she went to that university. And then there's like a flashback of her being at the university, and she is like hysterical.
She's at a payphone freaking out and like sobbing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's pouring down rain, and but the mom didn't want, she was like, I guess, calling her, but then had called.
She had the doctor.
Yeah. Had the doctor call her, and she was just like freaking the fuck out and just like needed help. But she ended up going back to her dorm. She ended up like telling this person that she ended up going back to her dorm room. And then like as she was sleeping, she woke up at what we find out is 3 a.m. to the smell of something burning. So she gets up.
So that happened before the call. She called after. She was normal up until that.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
Till 3 a.m.
Yeah.
So that happened before she made the call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when she wakes up at 3 a.m., she smells something burning. She goes out, and she's at a dorm room. So there's a bunch of dorms down a hall. And when she goes out into the hallway, she's looking around. There's nothing burning. And she notices the door down the hall is just slamming fucking shut back and forth. And that's like a reoccurring thing, is doors slamming throughout this movie. And she runs over and like closes the door. And then she like goes back into her dorm room, lays back down, and she's looking at, or she's trying to go to sleep. And then she starts to hear.
Thing. Was that really happening with the door? Because it was loud as fuck, and it was
if it's
happening
shutting
for
that,
a while.
Yeah.
Is no one else like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
Just Deborah Morgan?
Yeah.
Just Detective Deb on the case, making it happen.
Dude. But yeah, right? Because if
for a while, it's like, I'm not exact. That's how fucking loud it was.
Yeah.
It was insane for minutes.
Yeah.
No one else is like, what the fuck is happening out there?
Yeah.
There's no RAs that are like, oh, I better go stop all that banging. People are going to wake up and be mad.
Well, I think a big thing that's happening with the reoccurring door slams is that the doors, like this door was obviously like swinging up, but there's another time where a door doesn't really slam, but they make it like a point that it jolts
the person.
And I think it's supposed to be like showing the way that it affects this person who is somewhat being, I don't want to say like attacked, because she's not being attacked yet, but like they're probably trying to make her more susceptible of being like possessed or something like that.
It was like, could nobody else hear that is all.
No, yeah.
Is all we were talking about here.
Well, they should have, but that's my point. It's like, to her it seems louder because they're trying to make her more scared, so it's easier to like possess her or something like that.
Okay.
But when she goes back into her dorm room, she tries to go to sleep, and she starts to hear a little
she has like a
bundle
cup.
of.
She has a pencil cup on her.
Yeah, and it has a bunch of pens and pencils, and she hears them like all fluttering together, and she looks over at it, and it just gets pushed, and then like pushed on the ground and goes off, and she sits the fuck up, and she's like, like, what the fuck is that? And immediately, this scene was one of the scariest scenes I've ever seen in my fucking life. Immediately, the covers get like pulled from off of her bed, like the main comforter, and then her sheets that are still on just start sucking down into the bed, and she starts sucking down, and she's freaking out. She starts like hyperventilating, and then all of a sudden she gets thrusted right back into the bed, and she is like, her whole body is like getting fucking like sucked down into the bed, and she's like screaming, she's freaking out, and then all of a sudden it starts just fucking choking her, and she's like fucking.
I have a friend of mine who got choked by a demon in Switzerland.
It's a fucking
yeah,
joke.
she was in Switzerland. She was getting choked. But what do we know about this demon? What kind of demon is it?
It's a dude.
No.
What
kind of demon?
A sex demon.
No.
God damn it, David.
Has a name. It's one word. You don't know. You're never going to guess it if you don't know it. You either know it or you don't.
Ah.
It's an incubus.
Oh, I would have never guessed
It's a
that.
demon that has sex with you until you die.
Oh. Yeah, that's exactly what it seemed like it was portraying because it right when it started
That's what happened to
choking
my
her
friend in Switzerland.
It brings up like her shirt and stuff. It starts like pushing her shirt up, and as it's choking her, and she like tries to like fight off, and dude,
And you hear like shut up, you fucking cock tease. You know you want this, all right? You know you want this. You were looking at me all night at the party. All right, you're gonna act like you don't want it now. You fucking slut. You love this. You fucking love it. Just let it happen.
and she lets it happen.
Yeah.
So she's like trying to fight off the fucking demon, and then finally she like almost like as if she gets the hands off her throat, and then she's like fighting him with her arms, like, and you could see there's like a blatant fucking struggle going on, and she just gets her fucking hands pinned back, and she's like freaking out. And once when she gets like fully pinned down, she starts shaking like uncontrollably, trying her hardest to get this thing off of her. And the way that it's portrayed is so goddamn realistic that you're just like, oh fuck, dude, this is scary. And then she finally like is released by the demon, and she fucking falls from the bed onto the ground and starts like profusively fucking crying, freaking out profusively. David, you think I forgot?
That's the first profusively in a little while. It's been a little bit since we've had a profusively.
Was I gonna say it right this time?
Yeah.
Nah.
Hysterically is how you would say it.
And she is freaking the fuck out. And once when she like kind of gathers herself after like a second of crying, she fucking jolts out the room, as one would. Like you wouldn't stay in that room, but it wasn't like portrayed like that.
Unless she liked it.
Unless she liked it.
And then she'd be like, all right, I'll stay.
Yeah. But we just see her run out. You would think that like I would go let my next
That's
door.
one thing. If you ever think, oh, I might have raped that girl, just if she stays afterwards, then she liked it and you're good.
Yeah.
All right? It has nothing to do with her being afraid of what happened. That's why I always say, if you leave this room, I'll fucking kill you. That way I know, okay, she stayed. She's in on it. She's happy. She enjoyed it.
All right. So now we are at that same fucking bar. I mean, this is her fucking spot, dude. She must be here like 5 times throughout the fucking film. But the tough cookie himself, Ethan Thomas, walks up to Janet from Primal Fear, having a drink, and immediately she's trying to play. I mean, this is like a good cop, bad cop kind of conversation. At first, she's trying to play nice. She's like, "Oh, this guy makes an excellent dirty martini," and it's like, "Bitch, you didn't even take a sip of it last time. Like, who are you fucking kidding?"
Yeah, but she's had it before.
No, yeah, I'm
know?
sure. I just wanted to pick on.
And he's just like, no, I'm good.
Yeah,
right?
and they
What
go.
do you want?
Well, they kind of have a talk because they're going to be going after each other in court, and it's kind of like there's like almost no point to the conversation because they're kind of just like going back and forth at each other as to how they're both going to be going at each other in court.
So there was a point to it. He said they want me to push for a plea deal.
No, yeah.
So the judge suggested that we lower our terms of the plea, and she's like, well, you don't have to do that because General Cornwallis has zero interest in a plea. And he says, good.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, that's kind of like...
That was the whole point of it. He was there to offer her a better deal for Cornwallis because the judge was like, hey, we don't want to fucking try this. Like, I don't want to sit in my courtroom and try the priest.
Yeah.
Offer him a lighter sentence. That was a bullshit thing that you offered him. Offer him something lighter. Let's not do this. And he went to do that, and she's like, well, don't even do that.
And they're trying to like
Great.
play...
So we're going to court.
Yeah, and they're trying to play off of each other in like a way where they're trying to act nice at sometimes. They're trying to be like a certain way. And to me, like that was like, because I almost feel like they both knew each other's hand, like when it comes to,
Yeah.
if
They're
that
both
makes
good
sense.
lawyers.
Yeah, exactly.
Iron sharpens iron, baby.
That's right, David. But yeah, so basically, they're going to fucking, they know they both are going to war in this courtroom.
Let's fucking do it.
And she finally knows that he's a tough cookie and doesn't want a dry martini. But now we're back at her place. And her place, I got to say, because we're in here a little bit, it seems like she's like high up in like a skyscraper. Did it seem like that for you?
It's a nice apartment.
Right?
Yeah.
So she's at this nice apartment. Seems like she's pretty high up. The reason why I bring that up is because like there's sketchy vibes at some point like throughout this, and it's, I don't know, I found it like a weird like nuance between like the city lights and like there being like a demon haunting her. We'll get into it, but we see that she's studying up on papers and she's going over, you know, basically documents and stuff like that for her court case tomorrow. And what we get a close up on is the word Gambutrol and like side effects. But the next day we're at court, or actually no, that night we end up seeing at 3 a.m. her watch stops exactly at 3 a.m., which is, you know, good little point. Because the next day at court, one of the first things that we see her do is look down at her watch, and it's stopped at 3 a.m. And it's the beginning of the court case. She doesn't really do much here. It's basically like all Ethan Thomas just kind of going off. And the first thing that he puts up is a photo of
Deborah
Emily's, of her dead body the day that she died, and he's giving his opening statement to the juror.
And it's basically, he's saying she was sick, she needed medical help, the priest made it so she couldn't get that. This is what she looked like when she died. It's his fucking fault. I'm going to prove that to you guys while we're here.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Let me see.
Judge, they ask Venables. They're like, "Are you ready for your opening statement?" And she says,
She's gonna hold.
I'm gonna hold off doing the opening statement until I've heard from the defense or the prosecution's witnesses." And judge says, "All right, that's your right. You're allowed to do that." And then she looks at the priest, or she looks at Cornwallis, says, "Hey, don't worry, that was always my plan."
Yeah.
All right. Has nothing to do with what he just said up there. The plan was always to do this.
Yeah. And then we get a doctor that gets brought to the stand that is basically like an expert on Gambutrol. And
he's a neurologist.
Yeah, he's a neurologist.
Brain doctor.
Yeah. And, you know, he goes into, I mean, like a lot of the lines and the way that they're bringing it up is kind of like mocking for the way that they talk about it, because they're trying to say that she was, that this is like a case of her having epileptic seizures, being psychotic, and that she should have stayed on the drug Gambutrol.
So it's a doctor who treated her.
Yeah.
And said, he says something very interesting. He said that there was a possible epileptic something in the lobe of her brain. But he says the word possible. He said possible, she showed possible signs of epilepsy on the whatever lobe of her brain. So I prescribed her Gambutrol and said, "Hey, this is going to fucking fix you. Take it."
Yeah. Which
and then he's like, and then she stopped coming to see me because she said
the father.
She spoke to
Well, not
General
father.
Cornwallis.
Yeah.
Call him the father.
I know.
All right? Either priest or Cornwallis.
You're
She
right.
spoke to General Cornwallis, and they both thought it was something supernatural, and it was not a medical issue.
Yeah. So that the family and Emily, they all put like their faith straight into
Venables
General
goes
Cornwallis.
up and she questions the guy, and she's just like, "You said possible epileptic whatever in the lobe," and he's like, "Yes." She's like, "So you don't know for sure?" And he said, I do not know for certain." Or he tried being like, "Well, I'm a doctor, you know, like maybe that has a little weight." Like I remember at my job, I brought a young man to a doctor. He needed a specific shot, and it was like something that just our medical staff had never administered. So we brought him to like an urgent care.
Yeah.
And the doctor said, "Yeah, I mean, I've never given that shot. I'm not sure how to do it, but I swear to God, I was there. It was in the lobby." He said this, but I mean, like, I'm a doctor. I'm sure I could figure it out. We did not use him. We went somewhere else where they're like, "Yeah, we've done this shot.
Yeah.
Here you go." He's like, "Yeah, I'm a doctor. Like, what? How hard could it be? I'm really smart."
And that's kind of like the tactic that she is using. Because one of the things she says is, so doctor, aren't you selectively choosing what parts of Emily's experience fit your epilepsy diagnosis while simply ignoring those which indicate something else?
Yeah, he's picking and choosing the shit, and he's like, so she must have epilepsy when there's other shit. She had other side effects that would not coincide with epilepsy. And she does a brilliant job here of just poking holes in that of like, it's not for sure.
Yeah. So then, like, basically, there's not too much else that comes from the conversation. So
she does her job because in the court of law, the burden of truth is not, or the burden of proof is not on her.
Yeah.
Her job is the fucking prosecution's job is to prove that beyond a reasonable doubt, General Cornwallis is guilty. Her job is just to create that reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
And she does a fucking brilliant job of doing that the whole case.
Yeah. And she also says that she's going to reserve her like opening statement for when...
Yeah, we said that already.
Oh, okay.
Fucking bitch.
Dude.
Listen to me when I talk.
All right. Just wanted to reiterate just in case. Not really. I just didn't hear you. But now we pop back up to General Cornwallis.
Swallow my words. Taste my thoughts. And if it's too nasty,
spit it back at me. God damn.
It took me a minute there to think of what the actual line was.
That's a good line.
It's a great one.
It's a good lyric. But now we're back at General Lord Cornwallis's jail cell. And once again, like, it's not about the case. It's about her and Emily. And he says,
Deb Morgan.
Listen, before we get started, there's something I have to tell you. Something I should have said to you before I let you take this case. Immediately, she could have been like,
yeah. Absolutely, he should have. It's bothering him. He's worried. He for sure should have let her know before today.
But like I'm saying, like, what do you think her mind went to? Like, do you think it went to demons?
I think her mind was like, he fucking strangled her to death.
He fucking killed her.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
It's easier to defend someone knowing they're guilty. Like, if they're guilty and I know.
Yeah.
Gotta know everything. Sorry, great.
But he continues and he goes, there are forces surrounding this trial. Dark, powerful forces. Just be careful, Janet from Primal Fear. Watch your step. And she's just trying to play along a little bit. It's like, just try not to be a dick.
She's like, hey,
She's
like
like,
I
okay.
said, I'm agnostic.
Yeah.
I'm going to be fine.
And like, she's trying to play it off. And he's like, no, you don't fucking get it. Demons exist, whether you believe in them or not. And your involvement in this trial might just open you up to their attacks. And she's, once again, just playing off. She's like, look, Father, General Cornwallis, I appreciate your concern, but I think the main thing we need to be focusing on is this case, okay? I got them coming at me about fucking science and the body, and all I got is you talking scripture, bro. Give me something.
Not even scripture.
Yeah, not even.
Just saying craziness.
Yeah, and
Ukrainian demons exist. They killed Deb. They're going to kill me, and they will kill you.
yeah. And
Watch your ass.
And he's still over it. And she's like, well, listen, dude, like, if you want something good to come out of this, like, I need more fucking information. And so we end up getting another flashback scene, and he starts to go on about one of Emily's first experiences of becoming possessed. And this is when she admits herself into the university hospital, and what she sees, she starts to, there's like there's always a thunderstorm in this fucking movie. She's looking out this ginormous, window that they always have in the hospitals, and she starts to see a face in the clouds as the lightning strikes, and her face is so scared and like, what's the word I'm looking for?
She sees the demonic face in the fucking clouds, and she's
but her
terrified.
face is like, yeah, like but like
she's like, oh my god, this is fucking nuts.
Yeah, and she almost looks like she's possessed. Is I guess what I'm kind of getting to, but she's not. We know that she's not possessed yet. But then she ends up falling to the floor, and her body starts to like contort and stuff like that, and she her eyes, we see like a close up, her eyes go like fucking all black too and stuff. And we come to find out that this is the first time that she became actually possessed. And this is something that she told was one of her first experiences of the demons actually entering her and like taking over her. So now she knows she's possessed. But what they do, and I like that they did this in the film, they show two different kind of flashbacks. One where it's from the perspective of people who believe in it, like General Cornwallis and stuff, and the way that Emily described it to him. But then also another way that they think scientifically it actually happened, where it just shows her like having like a seizure. And that because of being epileptic, schizophrenic, and possibly psychotic, that this...
Possibly all three of those things.
Possibly all three of those things. That she could be experiencing what she thinks actually happened, when in reality...
And she's going into psychosis.
Yeah, exactly.
And the doctor makes a point of, he's like, and like first thing we did was run her blood. I assumed...
She was on drugs.
Yeah, she took some kind of drugs. Which, yeah, I partook in like synthetic research chemical fucking nonsense drugs at one point in my life. And I remember sitting at my friend's house and there was a demon on the wall.
Really?
The lights were off. Everyone else was asleep. I'm just sitting there and I'm seeing it and I'm like, this is fucking nuts. What's going on right now?
No, I know that you said that you were on like synthetic drugs, but were you possibly sleeping? And I'll bring up, I'm not going to touch on it for too long.
Was I possibly sleeping?
Yeah.
Anything is possible in that scenario.
Yeah.
I was in control of nothing.
So, and
I could have been asleep. I could have not been in that room. But in my mind, I was staring at the wall and there was a demon on the wall.
So
I could have been home for all I fucking know.
So I'm not saying it wasn't like the synthetic drugs. I totally could be it. But one thing that everyone says, besides me, when it comes to this experience with sleep paralysis, is that when people enter sleep paralysis, their body, and this is potentially part of what might have happened to even Emily. So what ends up happening when you go into sleep paralysis, your body literally goes to sleep. So it's literally, and I've felt this a million times, it feels like your body goes paralyzed, just goes limp, and you can't move your body. But you're awake and you're conscious and you could see over. But what ends up happening is it's like as if you're releasing DMT and all this other shit in your brain that helps you dream, like, but while you're like still conscious. So your brain thinks it's asleep, but you're still awake. Your frontal cortex is like still awake. And what ends up happening with a lot of people is they see a black demonic figure that's on a wall, and it's just a face. It's like a silhouette of it, and it ends up always coming from like a top of a wall or something like that, ceiling, and it comes down and it comes up to them and it comes eye line with them. And everyone, I'm talking about like, I've listened to a lot of this from people I know and other random people.
You're saying, in my experience, you're not saying it wasn't the drugs. I'm saying there is absolutely zero scenario where it was not the drugs.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's not the drugs.
I'm saying it 1,000% is the drugs.
That's what
It's happened to me once.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, it was Flocka, what I did. It's happened to me once, and it was when I did Flocka.
Shit.
There's no scenario where it was anything other than the Flocka for me.
Yeah.
I could have been in sleep paralysis, 1,000%. It only happens when I'm on Flocka. It only happens.
Which it probably totally was.
It was.
But even though...
I don't like... You're doing the shadow of a doubt.
No,
I would have... If you were Venables doing this with me, I would have shut it the fuck down. I was like, oh, there's no probably about it, Ms. Venables. All right? You look at me when I'm talking to you, bitch. Marty, I am walking out of here.
And I guess, and I agree with you, but I think the big thing for me is whether it was drugs or sleep paralysis or demon possession, for you, for 100%, but everyone's different experiences. My point is, the brain could always...
I don't care about any other person other than myself.
That's
I think you've picked up on that.
But it's just the potential that your brain could create... in some way, shape, or form of other things that might be making it go to that state. In some way, your brain can make you see things and feel it in a way where you might be, you might distinguish it as it being true in reality. Sorry that happened to you, bud, but...
I mean...
How do you...
Kids don't do Flocka. I don't... Yeah. You don't need to be sorry.
Was it scary though? It just stopped right there though. The demon.
I don't remember it that vividly.
Okay.
I just remember that happening and me freaking the fuck out.
Yeah, shit.
I also
sounds scary.
Also could have not happened, and I just was freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
It could have been a dream. I could have been sitting on a sidewalk in another state, and it's like, man, I'm in this guy's bedroom right now.
Yeah.
There's like 6 of us here, and there's a demon on the wall that only I see. Yeah. All of that could have not happened.
Well, I did want to just touch on it for a second since you brought it up, because there's a black demonic figure throughout the film in multiple people's experiences. But we hear from Jason's perspective, which is her friend.
We don't know who the fuck Jason is.
Yeah, so
they were fucking. They don't say they were fucking, but they were fucking.
They were for sure fucking. But he's also kind of talking about this to Janet from Primal Fear, because she ends up going to him because he was an eyewitness to the exorcism. He was also a friend of Emily Rose's.
Deborah Morgan.
Deborah Morgan. Deborah Morgan. Dexter. Deborah Morgan. Okay. Deborah Morgan, So she's speaking to him now, and he's giving also his experience, at the hospital with her, and then ends up like saying that like that they left the hotel or the fucking hospital, and
you're fucking way off.
No,
he sees her running through the rain into a chapel. She goes into the chapel. She starts freaking out, and old people leave.
That's what it was. So Jason was telling that's why I got a little mixed up. Jason was telling the story because right after she ended up leaving the hospital, he ended up seeing her running out in the fucking, once again, thunderstorm, and sees her go into a church. And he calls out for her, but she doesn't respond. He goes up to there. We see her once when there was a little bit more that actually happened from this, because she left the hospital room and then she go to class. She didn't leave the hospital room, but we go to another account.
She went straight from the hospital to here and starts freaking. I don't know. She's seeing. Doesn't matter. She sees demon faces in class. She sees demon faces on the street. She freaks the fuck out every time. She goes to the church. She starts freaking out and like trying to pray. And
she sees 2 older women. They get
the fuck out of there.
Yeah, because she sees demon faces and she screams at them like fucking hysterically, and then so do they, and they fucking run out. And as Jason's going in, these 2 women run out, and when he goes in, she is just one hand at the altar, like going towards the altar, and she's saying a prayer. Like, but it's not
but
like
she can't
in prayer.
Finish. She's saying the Our Father, but she can't finish the prayer.
Yeah, and she starts literally contorting her body back as Jason comes in. He's like, Emily, like, what the fuck is going on? And she turns to him as her body's contorted and was like, the fuck did she say?
Don't touch me! Don't touch me!
Like
in like a crazy demon, like dark voice. He's never heard her talk like that.
And he fucking freaks out, falls back, and he like crawls back, and she ends up she's like still contorting her body, which, fun fact, the actress
Deborah
Morgan actually was doing all these contortions. So like everything you saw with her body wasn't like a stunt or anything like that. Like she was actually doing it.
Good on her.
Just shows the level of that acting. Great job. But she ends up falling after that, and she's just crying now. And now you can see it's Emily, and she's begging. She's like, Jason, please don't leave me.
Please don't leave.
And then we hear Jason say, and I never did.
I never did.
Because they're fucking.
That night we stayed in bed. I cuddled with her.
Because they're fucking.
All that stuff.
Can you imagine after having... I mean, let's say they didn't have sex, but they did. They had sex after this. And he wakes up...
Why would we say they didn't? I don't know. Why are we like, let's say they didn't? Of course they did.
Of course they did.
That was the best sex Jason's ever had in his life. Are you kidding me?
For sure. Demon going crazy on that dick. You know what I'm saying? So he wakes up out of like a sound sleep in her bed and just wakes up to her on the ground in fully contorted, like body fucking broken, like as if her spine and legs and arms are like literally broken. And she is just arched in a way where she is looking directly at him in all black fucking eyes. And Jason is freaked the fuck out.
You put sounds like he needed the devil in there, and I want to know what that was in reference to. I'm just reading. Brayden has his notes up, and I just see a line by itself that says, "Sounds like he needed the devil."
I know, because like when I'm writing this shit out, I'm like, oh, it'd be funny to say this after that. So,
I know that's what that was. I want to know what it was.
Yeah. So he, as he's having this conversation with Janet from Primal Fear, he says, so much of what we shared was like a nightmare, but I wouldn't give up a single minute I spent with her because all that fucking. She woke me up, to things I never felt before, things I never knew I could feel. I never knew how dead I was until I met her. So I said,
sounds like you
needed the devil.
There we go.
Because now he's got like this new profound fucking like love for life, or almost. You know what I'm saying? Like as if he was dead before, now he's alive. Like, dude, sound like you needed
Good for Jason.
the devil.
Yeah,
that devil was twerking, boy. But no, dude. Once again, we're back at this fucking bar, and what's funny is, as she's drinking, we overhear on the TV saying that residential North Metro District, where James Van Hopper acquitted after a controversial trial.
What are the odds you need to say all that?
What, like have it as a quote?
Mm-hmm.
No, it was just easier at that point, David. It was right there in my eye line. But basically at this point in the film, shit goes from bad to worse for her. Nothing's going her way in a trial. Her past trial, this dude just fucked up. So everything's kind of going down the drain. And I think this would be a good spot to come back to.
All right. So guys, you stick around. We'll be right back. And we're back. Hey, Derek Cheater. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck the Jeep Grand Wagoneer. Fuck your hot wife. Fuck your daughters. Fuck the Jeters.
Yeah. So, guys, we're back. We found out that her fucking old client that she got off of got fucking free. This man went and murdered a young couple. So she's bent out of shape. She goes to the bathroom, and this is the weird part that I was kind of bringing up earlier with the slams of the door, because, yeah, she's a little upset and stuff, but she's just like doing, I don't know, fucking washing her hands, and the person that comes out the stall comes up next to him to wash her hands, and for some reason the stall door is like the loudest slam of a door ever. So I think it's just like a way that the devil is just like, oh, you better, I'm jolting your nervous system to get fucking scared so I can possess you.
There we go.
Because later that night, what fucking happened? Shit goes down. She goes back home and she wakes up 3 a.m. Who would have fucking thunk? To the smell of something burning. So she goes out. She's very suspicious. She sees that, the fucking oven's not on, the stove's not on, and she's like, that's fucking weird. So she starts to get some glass of water, and as that's happening, her front fucking door is just creaking, like as if it's never creaked before, and now all of a sudden it's got like a really bad creak, and it's like her front door, and she immediately gets jolted and she drops her fucking glass of water. It breaks. She doesn't bat an eye towards it. She goes over and closes the front door, locks it. She's fucking scared. My thing is, okay, let's say that front door was really opening like that. Like you're like in like a skyscraper. There's probably another front door like 2 feet from you where it's like you probably look in the hall, see if there's anyone there. She closed the door. She looked at the pinhole. There was like no one there, but
you don't look in the hall, see if someone's there.
I would have done it.
But you're not a single woman living alone in a city.
And she looks out, she sees like 2 little girls, and it becomes The Shining.
No, or a man who fucking grabs her and rapes her.
Oh, that's a good point too.
Yeah, like that. She's getting it. She's getting the door closed and then seeing if someone's out there. She's not like, I'm gonna check it out, and it's probably just a misunderstanding. It's probably someone thought it was their apartment, and they tried to come in. They're like, "Oops, sorry, that's your apartment. I'm gonna go to my apartment. I'm new to the building, I'm new." No, she's like, this is a guy, and he's gonna fuck me up if I poke my head out this door.
That's a good point.
She closes it and locks it.
But one big thing that's happening is she's starting to become a little bit of a believer. She's like, I'm fucking scared. 3 a.m., 3 nights like in a row. Like, this shit's getting fucking weird, dude. Same night, now we're in General Cornwallis's jail cell, and he wakes up. There's like an unsettling, and what he hears is like the demonic voices. It's just like speaking kind of like gibberish and stuff like that. We hear the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just the beginning of that. And he looks over into the other, he stands up, looks over into the other jail cell, like from not right across, but like to the left a little bit. And he sees like a black figure kind of just like come out of nowhere. And it's all black, like in all these cells. And he immediately, he grabs it and he starts saying like a prayer. He's like, oh, heavenly, most glorious prince of the heavenly army, holy Michael, the archangel, defend us. He looks back up and it's gone.
Okay, if you have the whole prayer on there?
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say, if you didn't, I was going to be very upset.
Most glorious prince of the heavenly army, holy Michael the archangel, defend us in a battle against the princess powers and the rulers of darkness. Oh, thank God, it's fucking
And
gone.
then it stops.
It's gone.
Why did he not just tell everyone that prayer? And then be like, you're good. They backed the fuck off when I did.
Yeah, he's like, oh shit, the
they're
archangel?
They're still going to be around.
Fuck,
but like,
dude. Did you see him fucking bring up the archangel?
They got Michael the archangel. You're fucked, all right? You can't fuck with him.
I would have been like, hey guys, you guys see that figure? Like, I would have been screaming down the hall to like everyone else.
To the other prisoners.
Everyone
Like,
else
hey,
would-
you guys seen this shit?
I'd be like, shut the fuck up. I'm going to get to you next, boy. Can you imagine? He's just like the little bitch of like the prison. He's getting fucking...
Because he's a priest, so he would have some pull. People would want to go to him and like do confession and shit. He'd be popular, but not in a fun way. Like he'd have to really lean into the fact that he's a priest and really make that his full identity in prison, and people wouldn't fuck with him.
That's a good point.
Or
use...
Or here's the thing. Or I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about, and he would have been beaten and raped all the time. Because what the fuck do I know about prison? I assume.
Or he starts
What
saying
did
that
it
same
say?
prayer, and they're like, whoa, dude,
They're like, all right.
that's some strong shit.
Archangel Michael.
Yeah. But next day, we're back in court, and man, Janet from Primal Fear, she's late.
17 minutes late.
Fucking 17 minutes.
Everyone's just sitting there. The judge calls her out immediately.
Yeah. And then, we end up getting this Dr. Briggs on fucking trial on the stand. And so apparently he's advanced. He has advanced degrees in medicine, psychiatry, and neurology. And this guy's a little bragger. He's like, listen, I've written 3 books. I got several dozen papers published in the fields.
He's like, I've written 3 books. How many fucking books have you written?
Yeah.
Like, fucking done. You're right.
And, they start getting into the nitty gritty. Okay, like what was the cause of death as determined by the autopsy? And he's like, it was a gradual shutdown of the bodily functions. And like, why did her body shut down? And they're like, well, it was probably a cumulative effect from numerous physical traumas and malnutrition. And they're trying to blame that all on General Cornwallis. General Cornwallis is like, dude, I tried to fucking feed her. Well, stop looking at me.
But they're like, she didn't eat. She had all these ailments that she wasn't treating. That's what happened.
Well, and
over time, it fucking killed her.
They were like, they weren't really putting it all on General Cornwallis because they're like, how was she getting these injuries? And they're like, well, it's from these epileptic seizures, and it was self-harmed, self-inflicting.
Yeah, so they weren't, but they totally were.
Yeah, yeah.
They're saying, but this whole trial is he wouldn't let her get help.
Yeah,
he convinced her that she was possessed and that he needed to be the one to treat her.
Yeah, and they're trying. This is when they're really getting into the whole psychotic part of the schizophrenia and the epileptic seizures. They're trying to say that she ended up in psychosis while these schizophrenic epileptic seizures were happening, which made her like stay in the same like mental state of like her feeling like she was possessed by demons. And that's how they're trying to basically, I don't know, play this off, would you say? And they were also trying to say like she should have kept taking the drug Gambitrol. Like if she would have continued the drug Gambitrol, then she wouldn't have had this. And, Janet from Primal Fear, she ends up getting up and trying to use the same argument against them. Like, okay, well, why wasn't Gambitrol working then if you guys were already giving it to her. And they're like, well, it's a cumulative effect. It takes time to build up in the system.
Which is true.
Yes.
I didn't love her argument of that right away. But where she went after it, I was like, she's good.
Oh, well, you're talking about...
So he's like, it's cumulative effect, blah, 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 blah. She's like, so you don't know for certain that it would have worked.
Yeah.
Which is great. Her job is just to create a reasonable doubt.
Well, and this is what I really like, too, from what she did. Because she was like, okay, so you're trying to say it's a psychotic epileptic disorder. Is this like a legitimate term that you guys use, or did you just make it up?
Yeah.
And
he said something like epileptic psychosis.
Yeah.
Is a phrase he used, which isn't a thing.
Yes. And so she's like, it's a cute little line. She's like, so psychotic epileptic disorder is really your own pet theory. And then Thomas was like, objection, argumentative. And so the judge is like, sustain. And so she keeps going on, like, when Emily chose to stop her medical treatment, what exactly do you think should have been done? And this is great because he goes, upon recognizing her condition, I would have tranquilized her and force-fed her. And then, if necessary, I would have treated her with electroconvulsive therapy. And she goes, so electric shock treatment, you would have done this against her will? And he's like, to save her life? Absolutely. Which is crazy. Which is awesome and crazy. Like, you're gonna, okay, like, Gabe Trial didn't work. The fucking exorcism didn't work. I'm going to strap her down to a bed, and I'm going to shock her.
But what's great is, like, this is what the priest did. But because this guy says I'm smarter than the priest, he gets to do it, and it would be okay. like, I love how she's built, like, the way she does it, it's fucking great. If that's really what this guy's lawyer did, fucking bravo.
Dude, honestly, before, like, I forgot about this, like, that one line until I rewatched it. Obviously, my mind went to the South Park episode. I thought that South Park episode was, like, some stupid joke. Like, when they did the electromagnetic shock on the Mexican... What do they call him? The
Mexican Joker?
Mexican Joker. I thought that was like, no way does anyone ever do that in real life. Like, there's no way that's a real therapy of some sort.
Yeah.
Now that I've re-seen this and, like, see the way that they do everything very realistic, I was like, oh my God, this is a real therapy of some sort? Like, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, my friend Carrie, she worked for, I don't want to say the name, but it was a government agency. And she multiple times went and did ECT.
Did she say that it helped or anything?
Yeah.
Good job. Good for them.
Yeah. Carrie Matheson.
Good for her.
Yeah. It's a show.
Oh,
it's on a. Yeah.
That's what I was.
Yeah. It's from a show.
But the jury looks fucking conflicted from that statement because they're like, oh, shit.
They're like, this guy's out of his mind, too.
Yeah.
Fucking, all right.
Which is funny, though, because she also thinks she got him. She's like, yeah, no further fucking questions. And then, so basically, they're like, okay, I'm going to give my opening statement next time we come in tomorrow at 9:30. And then her and General Cornwallis have a little conversation really quick where she's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be late. I had a big power outage. I didn't get good sleep. And he was like, oh, yeah, I didn't sleep either. What kept you awake? She was like, doesn't matter. He's like, you're under attack. She's like, what? He's like, you're in a spiritual battle, Aaron. The forces of darkness are trying to keep you away from the light.
Demons!
Don't let them.
Don't let the demons win, all right?
And he walks off, and she's like, yeah, well, thanks.
Great.
We're doing fine.
Talk to you later. We're going to be great.
Yeah, no, this is all going fucking fantastic. Thanks for allowing me to know that I'm fucking being attacked by demons. So then she turns to her cuck fucking assistant, which I haven't brought him up yet, but she's got a cuck little assistant, right?
No.
Who's that guy?
He's not a cuck.
Kind of seems like a cuck.
He works for the law firm.
Sure.
Because she's a woman.
Sure.
If it was, here's the thing. This is your sexist nonsense. Because if it was a man, you would have just said you would have called him like his protege.
Oh, no.
You would have said he turns to his protege, this young mind that he's sculpting. He's going to make this kid a great lawyer. Because she's a woman, that's her little bitch cuck assistant.
Every time she's just the slightest bit upset, this man notices and comes running.
It's his fucking job too.
He's ready.
It's his job
He's ready
too.
to comfort
but if
her.
it was a man, you would have been like, this guy's gonna be a great lawyer one day because he's got that man helping him.
Well, she's doing great. I'm just saying the way he's reacting to everything about her.
Because she's a woman.
No,
You're
no.
a sexist pig.
David, why are you gonna make this all about sex, bro?
You did. You called him a cuck. He's doing his job. He is the fucking lawyer's assistant. It's his job to help her.
He's worse than the assistant to fucking
Probably not. Whatever you're about to say.
in phone booth. He's worse than that guy. The assistant to
No, he's not.
you don't think so?
I bet you this dude gets paid. This dude's not just doing it for the thrill of doing it for Colin Farrell.
All right, whatever.
Let Colin Farrell treat him like shit and not pay him. Dude's earning the fucking living.
So he comes up and it's like
she's upset. She's like, fucking we're getting killed. They have medical experts. We got the priest just sitting there looking dumb.
listen, if we don't get a fucking doctor to testify it's not schizo-epileptic or schizo-fucking-frantic, we're fucked. So then we cut to them at, I don't even know where, like a library or some shit. Someone's home that has a bunch of books. Yeah, Denny's. Did you say Denny's?
Yeah.
Oh.
Denny's.
and he comes up, brings her like a bunch of books on demons and prayer and stuff like that.
And then she says that a real man just fucked her and he needs to eat the cum out of her pussy. So he does that because he's a cuck, right, Brandon?
Well, wait, yeah, but what he
Right?
says is, well, listen, I try to get the psychiatrist, but this dude's in fucking Costa Rica. I try to get this other guy to eat the cum out your pussy, but they're all busy, so I'll fucking do it.
No, he did it because it's his job. He's the cuck. He didn't try to get anyone else to do it. That is his position because he's the cuck. You made him the cuck. He was just the assistant. You made him the cuck. So now he's eating cum out of her pussy.
So everyone's got some snippy little mark about someone in this fucking film because she's like, well, there's this book that I'm reading by an anthropologist. It's about contemporary cases of possession, mostly in the third world. He immediately is like, well, yeah, of course, because, those people are so primitive and superstitious.
There we go.
Primitive.
I like it. It's third world. They absolutely are.
And then she's like, well, maybe they're just, they see things that we don't. Maybe they can see into the fucking the possession for what it really is compared to what we see. And he's like, dude, you're just speaking nonsense. But he's like, okay, so you're really trying to validate possession in a court of law. And she's like, yeah. And they kind of go back and forth because, he is definitely doubtful that she should be taking this route now of trying to turn it to a spirituality rather than science.
She's smart about this. She's like, all right, you know what? I'm not going to convince the jury that just science is wrong. Like, doing the amount of maybe the doctors are wrong and I have nothing else it could be, we're not going to win.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm going to lose if all I do is sit here and argue with the doctors that they got their diagnosis wrong.
This is somewhat about a spiritual case. Let's use spirituality.
So I need to turn it to he's right. Cornwallis is right.
Yeah.
Let's bring in some people who validate that shit.
But at the same time, you keep looking for fucking medical experts to refute these fucking doctors.
Yeah.
So they end up finding this doctor named...
Her name's not important.
Yeah, Sadira Adoni. It's a cool name.
No, it's not.
It's
just a name for wherever she's from.
She's
whatever primitive third world country.
She speaks very eloquently. That was hard to say.
And you said it wrong.
Eloquently.
Quint.
There you go. Yeah. So, she's someone that's very spiritual, but she has a lot of background with dealing with people who have like some type of psychosis.
She's like an expert in exorcisms.
That too, yeah. Which is what she says. We need an expert in exorcism.
Do you want to say what his objection is?
You say it.
the fucking prosecutor, he goes, "Objection, Your Honor." And then he's just like quiet and standing there, and the judge goes, "On what grounds?" He goes, "I don't know. How about silliness? We're bringing this fucking lady in here to be like, oh, I'm the witch doctor, all this shit." He's fucking great here. He's just baffled. And he's like, "How about silliness? I don't know. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? All right, I had doctors up here. We got this fucking lady. This is nuts. Let's go." And she's like, "Come on. Oh my God, get up here." She's like, "Both of you, come to. We're not doing this in my courtroom."
Yeah.
And he's like, "This is a fucking joke, right? We're going to have this lady." And she's like, "You know what? I let you have all your doctors. This is an expert on exorcisms. We're going to hear her out. You can object, and if it makes sense, I'll sustain it at times, but I'm going to let Venables here proceed with her witness." And she's like, "Thank you, Your Honor." And then she starts talking to the woman.
Yeah. I think we did skip a little bit ahead though, because first person that was actually on the stand was Jason, and basically there was just like a quick flashback of her and him eating out to eat.
Yeah, fuck Jason. Let's keep going.
Well,
we got this late. We're not going back. Jason's a little bitch.
The main thing was that was the last time she took Gambitrol.
Great.
And it was when all these things she was still experiencing. So she was very irritable of sounds and this and that. But this is when. Yeah, this is when he went down that whole rabbit hole of like her being on the fucking ground and shit. But then we end up having Dr. Sidoni and up on the stand. Don't worry, this is a good part.
Yeah, remember when I said fuck Jason, let's move on from Jay? It's because I didn't want you to lose where we were in the actual movie already.
Okay. So this is another part. So Jason's still on the stand, and he's talking about when her father like told. So this is after what happened, and then Jason ends up bringing Emily back home. This is like another good part. So when Emily Rose's father asked Jason to bring her back home, he does, and they both help bring her like upstairs. And then like while she's resting, they ask her sister Alice to go check on her. And when Alice goes up there, she like slowly opens the door, and we see now that Emily has like
this is when Cornwallis gets to the house. He says,
yes.
He tells the little sister to go check on Deb because Cornwallis is here to get the fucking demons out of her. Why? What the fuck was Dad doing that was so important to where he's like, "Oh, why don't you go check on our fucking loose cannon daughter up there?"
That's a very great point. Yeah.
Not Cornwallis, you and I will go up there.
I think it was because
we'll have the fucking little sister go check on her.
Yeah, I think it was because
fucking
he was
nonsense.
talking.
I don't want you to play devil's advocate here. It's
you're
nonsense.
Right. Yeah.
All right. You don't need to. Oh, well, maybe it was. Fuck that. We're an hour and 42 minutes in. It was a bullshit idea on Dad's part.
Yeah. So she goes up there and comes to find out that the room is fucking destroyed because Emily's just been going fucking crazy.
Deborah Morgan.
And when she, says, "Hey, Deborah Morgan, what's going on?" She doesn't say that, but she's like, "Emily,
come on. What? Do you think the listener is like, oh, wow, the sister called her Deborah Morgan? That's crazy that they...
Well, what's going on?
That they
she
did this
that.
Weird... She just fucking checked her. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So she checked on her. She asked her, like, Emily, and she fucking...
Deborah Morgan,
and she turns around.
Well, not really.
David, you're throwing me off right now.
Not really, because the character's name isn't really Deborah Morgan. We're just calling her that in the podcast. So the sister wouldn't have said Deborah Morgan. The sister said Emily, because that's the name in the movie.
Look at that. Now we're
going to do that every time? Yeah, this is nonsense what you're doing. This is nonsense what you're doing.
It's nonsense what you're doing.
Why would you back off? Why would you be like, well, she didn't really say Deborah Morgan. She said Emily, because that's the name. That's what you did.
David, we're now like an extra minute.
Of course I'm going to harp on this.
Oh,
Of course I'm going to harp on this. Are you kidding me? You felt the need to stop in your tracks and be like, well, the sister wouldn't have called her Deborah because no one calls her that in the movie.
It wasn't about Deborah.
It's a different character. Her name's Emily in the movie because the name of this movie is The Exorcism of Emily Rose, and the same actress that plays Deborah Morgan is playing Emily Rose in this movie. So she called her Emily because they're sisters, and she would just call her by her first name. She wouldn't have said Emily Rose. She would have said Emily. And when she said Emily, what was Emily doing, Braden?
Emily fucking turns around, hisses at her, and you see her start eating more fucking bugs. So we see a bunch of bugs and cockroaches.
Spiders, just fucking rip it at him.
Yeah, and she fucking
It's great.
and she just starts to scream at her sister Alice, and then that's when Dad and General Cornwallis, they run up and they grab her. This scene gets fucking crazy because they grab her and they start like trying to wrestle her to the ground, and she is going fucking nuts. They cannot like pin her to the ground, but they finally do. They finally pin her to the ground,
And when they do,
they say
Cornwallis says,
Deborah,
Cornwallis says,
can you
Cornwallis, come on.
oh
He says,
he
Daddy, you're not calling the shots anymore. I am. Pull your daughter's pants down.
Jesus.
And he's like, oh, no, Cornwallis, don't make this. He said, that wasn't a request. We finally got her down. I've earned this. Pull your daughter's pants down. And then the dad, he's crying. The sister's in there crying. Jason's crying. Everyone's crying. Cornwallis makes Jason come over and hold the legs. Dad's holding the arms. And then he rapes her in front of everybody.
It's fucking crazy.
And then when he's done, he makes the little sister. He says, why don't you go get me a Gatorade? And then she gets him a Gatorade. And he's shirtless. He's smoking a cigarette. He's drinking the Gatorade.
Twirling the rosary.
And he's like, all right, yeah, well, I don't know. I guess I'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then he leaves.
So he says, Deborah, can you hear me? And she says in like literally like ancient Hebrew or some shit. And her body's like fucking frozen up and contorted. She said like just like random shit in like ancient fucking Hebrew. And then says in ancient Hebrew, I am the one that dwells within. Even though she's not saying it in English. She's saying, I'm going to say it in English.
It's subtitles. Yeah, dude, fuck yeah. There's subtitles.
Yeah.
Guys, anytime Braden says what Deborah Morgan's saying, it's not in English.
Yeah.
She does not speak English that we see for another time in this movie.
But what's great is General Cornwallis, he knows fucking ancient Hebrew too. He studied this shit. And he goes, I am the one who comes in his name. Think you can force me out, priest? Try. I dare you. But I got to say a little bit of context. She was frozen on the ground. They lift her up and she's still frozen like this. And she looks directly at him and then says the fucking line.
Yeah.
Dude, it's
great.
It's fucking creepy. And then when she says, like, think you can force me out, please? Try, I did. Her body just fucking collapses and falls. Like showing, like, fucking try, bitch. See what the fuck happens. You're not getting me out of here. I'm in control. Watch. Boom. Body goes fucking limp.
Done.
Yeah. So they're kind of free. This is when you first see General Cornwallis been like, fuck, I got my hands.
This is nutty, huh?
Yeah.
He's like, this is going to be wild.
Yeah. So now back in court, Ethan Thomas is putting Emily's father on the stand and just like asking him kind of like shitty questions, you know.
He really does.
Like, you know, you read the book, right? The Bible, right? And he's like, yeah, I do. And he's like, well, what about DSM, you know, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual?
How often you read the DSM, Mr. Rose?
You know, the thing that goes over mental disorders.
And he's like, I feel like I've never read that. Like, what are the odds? I'm like, I read it all the time.
It's like, no, I haven't fucking studied these things. And he's like, all right, well, so you're confident that, you know, the behavior you saw in your daughter's bedroom that night could not be from someone suffering some mental illness. And then he goes on in the past history, like somehow finds out that the father's aunt used to be fucking mentally.
The dad told, because he's like, have you ever been to a mental hospital? And he says, once I visited my aunt. And he's like, so
that's right. Yeah.
So mental illness runs in your family.
It's like, I guess.
And he's like, yeah, I guess so. Yeah. It's like, shit. I wish that would have been like, oh, fuck, I killed my daughter. Shit. How the fuck was I this stupid?
Yeah.
Like, I wish he would have done that.
Yeah.
He didn't.
And he basically tries to defend himself by saying, hey, listen, we did all that we could. We thought we did the most that we could medically. So then we put all of our care into General Cornwallis's hands. Because, like, who wouldn't put all of their belief and confidence?
There is nothing that I would not put in General Cornwallis's hands.
Right, dude?
Absolutely nothing.
Exactly. But next up to the stand is Dr. Adani. Now to bring it back full circle.
This was the silliness comment.
Yes, exactly. The whole silliness comment. And she stands her ground. She speaks very eloquently. You get it.
Keep going.
I was waiting for you to say something. But it's great because as they're kind of going,
Say what? Learn how to talk, dumbass. Like, what was I gonna say there?
eloquently. Just help me out with the word.
Yeah, I'm not gonna keep doing that though. You fucking quit trying to use words you don't know. I don't know. Fucking,
it's pronunciation, bro. It's, I grew up with a speech impediment. All this making fun
you're
of.
kidding. Oh my god, yeah. Oh, am I supposed to feel bad?
Dyslexia, speech impediments. I got this guy over here.
This stutter. Am I supposed to feel bad? Fuck you, bro. Fucking loser. Learn how to talk. Learn how to say words. David, well, I had the speech impediment as a child, and now you're making fun of me saying it, and I feel sad. Fuck you.
Okay, now I'm crying inside.
Cry outside. All right?
All right, so back to
the ratings. You suck. That would be that would be our highest watched show ever. If I'm making fun of your speech impediment and you're just sobbing, and I just keep making fun of it.
Just
people would not think very highly of me, but it would be the highest watched thing. People would want to kill me. It would be cancel David Breen, and everyone would be like, I feel so bad for this kid. You'd get what you always wanted, you victim.
You know what would be even better than bringing out tears out of me?
Bringing out cum. If you just jacked
off.
off.
I was gonna say the devil, but yeah, that's even better.
Yeah.
But
you still said the devil all the same.
Yeah, that's right.
I still had to say it.
That's right. But so Dr. Adani is on the stand, and once again, they thought it was silliness. They got brought up to the judge. Judge brought him up, like, hey guys, listen,
yeah, they know.
You had an expert on science.
They know. We said all this.
Yeah.
We said all this.
So go and do your thing. So they start doing it.
They said all. Why are you still saying it? Why are you still talking? Right?
Okay. So the main thing for Dr. Adani is basically proving that the drug Gambutrol put her in the type of psychosis that she was in because she was taking the drugs while she was going under exorcism. So that, therefore, in that spiritual heightened state, left her in this type of psychosis because of the drug while she was doing the exorcism.
She's saying whatever it is in Gambutrol prevented the exorcism from being able to work properly.
That, but also kept her in the state that she's in. Kept her having these demonic things going on that she was experiencing.
So she's saying Gambutrol was the worst thing that she could have taken
because it kept her
it made
in
this worse. Yeah, keep saying that phrase. Keep saying the phrase. It kept her in this state. They heard you.
Yeah,
they know.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is the big conflict though in the court case is okay, are they right?
Well,
because
it kept her in that, guys. Just so you know, it kept her in the state of psychosis that she was in.
Yeah. Well, and it also didn't allow
her to leave that state.
Yes. Yes. But what's funny is snap back to
it kept her in that state of psychosis.
Yes, you
Isn't
didn't
that
know.
Nuts?
Yeah. But he fucking he is just. He is a dick because he's like,
the
so
lawyer,
based on your
the other lawyer,
Thomas, yeah. So based on your time spent with all these holy roller snake handlers and voodoo priestess and Indian tripping on peyote buds, you've been able to conclude that the possession is a basic, typical human experience. And she's like, listen, I've got to say, that's quite a laundry list of disdain. And I was like, boom, back at it.
That's fucking wild that he said all that.
Yeah, and she's like, this is crazy. All these mischaracterizations of my work and my research. Fuck you, dude.
She's like, sir, I'm a human. I work hard at what I do. This is crazy the way you're talking to me. Don't do this.
Yes. And then he goes on to ask her experience with Gambutrol and how would she know? Because this must just be her own pet theory that she's making up, which is just a snap back to earlier. And funny enough, Janet from Primal Fear is like, objection, argumentative. And the judge, another little snap, she's like, listen, sustained, but I think he's just taking a page out of your book. boom, another snap. It's just like quick fucking jabs at everyone here. But so after that, I guess the reasonably good, hardworking assistant of Janet's from Primal Fear runs up and says, "Hey, listen, we found a doctor. We found a doctor who was a part of the exorcism. Not the cuck, the very well professional assistant."
So the way you said that, I knew what you were doing. I think the listener did. But when you say not the cuck, they now think that there's a second assistant.
Oh, you're right. God damn
It's
it.
the guy Braden was calling the cuck earlier. He was doing. I enjoyed what he was doing. I liked what he was doing. Really, really overselling how good he is. That was good. But it's the same guy.
Just don't want to confuse you guys. But she goes out and meets this fucking doctor who's sitting like in this random spot, like I guess outside the courtroom.
He's rough.
And he's feeding pigeons. Like you know shit's rough when you're feeding fucking pigeons. And they start to talk and he's just like, yeah, he's upset that the court case isn't going the way of General Cornwallis, and he's like, I believe in him. I believe in the demons. Basically, I believe all this stuff. And the moment he says the word exorcism, the pigeons fucking fly away.
Oh, good pickup.
And you know what I thought? He stopped feeding them that entire time he was talking about exorcism. It wasn't the exorcism.
Oh, was that he wasn't feeding them?
Yeah, he just stopped feeding them for like
They were
20
like,
seconds.
all right, we're not gonna sit here. We're not gonna sit here while this guy's
Fuck
talking.
you, dude. You smell like shit. You haven't showered since the exorcism. So they're pissed off. They leave. The pigeons. But yeah, he's basically just showing that he's gonna go on stand. He's gonna go on trial. He's gonna finally go into this case. And
I'm on board.
Yeah, I'm
That's
on
what
board.
this whole thing is.
And then at the end, he gives the cassette player, this random cassette player, recording tape cassette player to Janet from Primal Fear.
I mean, random. We don't know what it is, but
Yeah.
he gives a cassette player to her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And it's been a little while since we've taken a break.
Oh, that's a good point.
Let's help the editing process, guys. But stick around. We'll be right back.
That's right.
And we're back.
We're back.
Hey, Derek Jeter. Fuck you.
The worst. So, guys, now we are back in General Cornwallis's.
And we're back in the New York groove.
Yeah. But we're back in General Cornwallis's jail cell with Janet from Primal fucking Fear. And she's like, oh my God, what the, well, right before this, she actually walked on after meeting with him. She walked over to him and she's like, how the fuck could you not tell me about this other doctor? Like, you need to tell me everything. He's like, well, listen, I told him I wasn't going to tell anyone. And she's like, oh, I can respect that. But now later we're back in the jail cell and he's like, and she's going over how, this is going to be fucking amazing for us. We finally got a doctor who can, testify to what was actually happening and, help with Emily's story. And he just does not give a fuck. He immediately goes, when do I get to testify?
That is all Cornwallis cares about.
That is all he cares about. He goes on. He's like, I just want to tell Emily's story. And then to fucking like stop her, he's like, have you thought about what I said before about dark forces and demonic attacks? Like every time she shows up, he just like stops her. Like, listen, this isn't about the case.
Listen, I don't give a fuck about this case. Emily was possessed. I'm seeing these demons. I think you are too. Blah, blah, blah. And I kind of, is there anything super important here? Because I'd kind of like to just wrap this scene up with
the one
with
other
the
important,
result.
yes, the one other important thing was that they start. This is a big turning point for Janet from Primal Fear's character because she makes the decision to allow him to testify.
Yeah,
and
that's what I wanted to get to.
And the one other thing is that they were starting to speak about like how she's starting to become a believer. And she said the other day she had this experience. She was walking down the street while it was snowing out, and she noticed that there was a locket on the floor.
Fucking dumb coincidence. She's like, oh my God, there has to be a God.
And the initials on the locket is ECB, and her name is Erin fucking Christina Burner in the movie. So,
Yeah.
So she's like, I'm starting to be a believer, and he's like, well, do you have the locket with you now? And she's like, no. And he's like, well, you fucking should. That's a fucking sign from God to protect you.
I wish she would have said, "Do you have the locket with you now?" And she said no. He's like, "Well, I don't fucking believe you."
Yes.
Like, what are you talking about?
Yes. But she was also showing about how the archdiocese doesn't want him to testify because you're going to like embarrass the church. And she's like, no, that's fucking bullshit. Basically, I'm going to allow you to testify because if they want to not be embarrassed, they need you to walk out a free man. And she thinks that's going to be the best way to get him to be a free man is to allow him to testify.
Yeah. Good on her.
Yep. And she then wakes up at 3 a.m. to a demonic voice. Counting to 6, so we hear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and which fucking scare the shit out of me. And she wakes up, and basically just says, God help me. And the next day they're back at court. I mean, it's pretty repetitive for a lot of these things. And back at court, General Lord Cornwallis is on the stand, and he also begins describing the night he woke up at 3 a.m. And this is supposed to be like a scary scene. He wakes up at 3 a.m. to the smell of something burning, as he states, just like Emily stated that she did. And he ends up going on about how, 3 a.m. is the demonic fucking like witch hour, and it's supposed to be like the complete opposite to the 3 p.m. that the miracle hour is, in which like...
So 3 p.m. is the miracle hour when Christ the Redeemer died for our sins.
Yes. So this is supposed to be like a mock that they're going to like...
Yeah, it's the exact opposite.
Yeah.
They're mocking the Holy Trinity.
Yes.
Is what he says.
Yeah.
Which is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
There you go. And so when he walks out his room, he notices the fire alarm's not going off, there's nothing burning, and he starts to see that like he's... What do you call it where he's staying? It's not his home, but it's his home, but it's like a fucking church home thing.
Sure.
Yeah. But there's windows that have like church things, like the windows that show like fucking I don't know Jesus on it or something. Stained glass, but it has the
stained glass,
but with the religious shit on it, and
it's just stained glass.
So like all of these people who are
what
on the
glass?
stained glass
There we go.
are like bleeding out their eyes and shit, and he starts to say a prayer, and as he's saying the prayer, he notices more blood is like coming out the fucking stained glass. So then he starts to run. He runs down the stairs, and as he runs down the stairs, he starts to become like very dizzy, like disoriented. He goes,
and as he's saying the prayer, he can't finish it.
Yeah, because he's so fucking scared, and he sees.
So
it.
us watching it, we know. Oh, Deb Morgan couldn't finish her prayer earlier when she was possessed by these fucking demons. Now he can't finish his. Are we about to see him get fully possessed?
That's a good point. So then he runs outside once again. Another thunderstorm. Wherever they are, it's a rainy season. And he looks up and he sees this black figure like straight down, probably like 30 feet away from him, just kind of like rise up and start coming towards him. And once again, he starts with another prayer. And then like finally it like just fucking like disappears.
Yeah, it kind of like walks away.
Yeah. So, nah.
Yeah.
Probably was just someone out in the dark and he just mistaken
just
it.
Wearing a hoodie.
Yeah. But he's back on the stand, and Thomas just does not fucking let up.
I loved this.
Yes. So immediately he's like, "Oh, so you're God's gunslinger."
So no, because you're making him seem ridiculous for saying this. He said, "So you saw the demon and then it just went away." He's like, "Yeah." Because he says like it like kind of nodded at me, and he's like, "All right, here we go." He's like, "So the demon kind of nodded at you and then walked away. What do you think that was about?" And he's like, "I think it was to say, let the games begin." It's what General Cornwallis says.
Yeah.
As if to say, let the games begin. So then he's like, oh, so you're just God's gunslinger out here, just mutual respect between you and the demon. You go toe to toe. You win a few rounds. He wins a few rounds. He's like, this is fucking nonsense what you're saying right now, dude.
And Judge is like, I will not have that in my courtroom.
He's like, get the fuck out of here.
I love it because the judge is like fucking more.
Yeah, because he's not wrong. He's like, this is crazy. The demon like nodded at you. He's like, all right, this guy's for real. This guy knows his shit. Let's go.
So he's like, all right, fine, Judge. So this fucking black figure. I mean, what have you seen it since? And General Cornwallis is like, I've seen it ever since. And he's like, are you fucking kidding me? Do you really expect me to stay professional right now? Which is great, but so then now it switches. So now Janet from Private Fear is like, let me redirect. All right, so General Cornwallis, when did you perform the exorcism? This motherfucker said on Halloween, October 31st. Why? Because, throughout history, Halloween's just been a day where people experience more demonic type of shit. So we thought, hey, we'll use it as a tactic to bring them into the light. That's like the literal fucking word. It's like this man is he just uses strategy even here. He
uses strategy because it's chess. It ain't checkers.
It's chess.
I'm playing him.
Come on, Judge. You got to see this. So this is the fucking good part. So they get into the exorcism. And when he starts talking about that, they bring out the tape recorder that they used for the exorcism. And then they enter it into evidence and stuff, but they start to play the tape and they go into the flashback, and it's like General Cornwallis, Jason, the father, they're all up in the room.
Everyone who was there when Cornwallis raped.
Yeah. Okay, it's still recording. Good.
Yeah, everyone who was there when Cornwallis raped Deborah Morgan earlier.
Yeah, they're all together, about to do a raping ritual.
And they're tying her down to the bed per Cornwallis's command.
Yes. Well,
so you guys put together what you think's going to happen here.
Well, it's great because General Cornwallis is like, Emily's not going to be with us tonight. Okay, so I don't, and like starts to prep them. And if I'm if I'm like Jason or someone or the father, I'm like freaking out myself because he's like, you may say the rosary or any private prayer for deliverance. When you see him, or how did you say it?
But hold on, this is when you would start freaking out?
Yeah,
up until here, you were calm, cool, and collected about it. You can find where we are in the movie. You were calm, cool, and collected about it, but him saying that, you're like, oh, this is serious now. She was eating bugs. She was contorting her body in ways bodies don't contort. The priest raped her and made her little sister go get him a Gatorade.
I guess this is when I'd be like, oh, shit's about to go down for real. Like,
shit's been going down.
No, yeah, shit's been going down.
Shit's been going down.
But now it's fucking going down. Like, oh, fuck.
In an earlier round, cause sugar will going down swinging. I'll be your number one with a bullet. Low gun complex, cock it, bullet. Boop, 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 boop. Man, that song was humongous.
That was great, bro.
I didn't really like that song that much.
It's like punk rock,
but it was that's pop punk.
Pop punk.
All right,
it's
very disrespectful to actual punk rock.
My bad.
All right.
So he says, General Cornwallis, above all, do whatever I ask without question. Don't ask it any questions or pay any attention to what it says.
He's like, listen, that's not your daughter anymore, right? That is my fuck doll. It is my property. You don't speak to it. Don't look at it as a human. Because, like, for him, he's like, it's going to be hard for these people to listen to me if they think I'm raping their daughter.
Yeah.
So that's, I got to make them think that not only is it not their daughter, it's not a fucking person anymore, right?
Well, exactly, because Jason goes,
She is not a person. She is an object that I'm going to fuck in front of.
Jason's like, I've had sex with this person. What do you mean, it? And he's like, we won't be dealing with Emily tonight.
With Deborah.
With Deborah. And then Deborah starts making weird noise.
But he didn't say Deborah. He said Emily because
it's the movie.
They wouldn't call Deborah.
Yeah,
named Emily in the movie. Yeah.
So Deborah's like, and then General Cornwallis like, restrain her now. Fucking grab her wrist. They fucking tie her down to the bed. And then he turns like pretty slowly, kind of confident. I would have fucking jolted to the holy water. He like slowly grabbed the holy water as if it was a holy moment and just kind of like barely. I would have been fucking flicking on her.
Yeah, that's the difference between you and General Cornwallis, though.
That's right. General Cornwallis knows how to keep his cool under pressure.
Absolutely.
So
you don't get to the level of a general of the King's army Without being cool. Under
Without,
pressure.
yeah,
All right?
exactly. So he starts to flick some water on her and says, all right, let's say a prayer. Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on us. And then Emily, the moment the water hits her, she goes, and like fucking
Deborah Morgan
just pulls up from her chest as her arms are still back and just like opens her eyes and just starts staring at him as he says this. This is a fucking hype moment. And he says, let us pray. Because she hopes in you, my God. Send her help from the holy place, Lord, and give her heavenly protection. May the Lord be with you and with your spirit. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. And then Emily breaks off one of the fucking things that her hand is like the back of the poles of the fucking bed frame. Just like flicks it off and hits her father in the face with it. Father goes fucking flying. And immediately starts talking at the father in German tongue and goes,
at General Cornwallis.
yeah. And
She hit her dad
yeah.
in the head.
And then says, dolls and kisses and crosses and wishes, and you think you can save your little girl? And then the father goes, thy kingdom come.
Quit saying the father.
General
General
Cornwallis.
Cornwallis.
Thy kingdom come.
There's her dad in the scene. How do you not see how confusing that will fucking be?
Man, it was just in the film. So I
The
was like, all right.
priest, General Cornwallis, not the father.
Goes on, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those that trespass against us, and lead us not into temptation. And then she just goes, but deliver us from evil. And then he's like, oh my fucking God, who are you, demon? Tell me your name. And then fucking cats come in for some reason. Like the door opens on its own and cats come in.
So one thing she does do here, she yells names.
No, that's in a second. So she goes in ancient Hebrew. She goes, I am the one that dwells within. And then the father goes, or General Cornwallis goes back in ancient Hebrew. In the name of Christ, identify yourself. Deborah goes,
Morgan.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Trick or treat, I give you treat and tricks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then fucking out of nowhere, cats just jump on General Cornwallis, knocking him to the ground, and they all forget about her and go to help fucking General Cornwallis with cats.
He's fucking up cats on the ground. Jason's stomping on their heads.
Yes, killing all these fucking cats. So, I mean, after we find out there was 11, there must have been 20 before because they killed like 19. Or
Just saying, she yelled names when I said that.
Oh.
All right.
Oh.
Don't correct me ever again. All right. We'll have a real fucking problem if you ever try to pull some shit like that again.
Oh, okay. So then she jumps out the fucking window. She's on the second floor. So she jumps out the second floor window, lands perfectly because we come back down to the mom and the sisters on the couch in the living room, and we see out the window back behind them that she cleared it. She cleared it.
But of course she did.
Of course she did.
Like if she jumped and just like hit, and she's like, fuck. Like it would have sucked.
Yes. So she fucking lands it, clears it, and then runs into the barn, and then, everyone that was in her room follows after her, and they're yelling her name like, Emily, stop! Deborah! And they all go into the barn. The moment we go into the barn, she starts screaming uncontrollably, like a fucking high pitch. It's making all the horses freak out, and her sister runs in for a split second and screams, Emily! And then, sees that she's fucking... Deborah sees that she's possessed and just like, I'm fucking out of here. Just turns around and leaves. General Cornwallis says, doctor, I need you here now. Watch your vital signs. If I'm the doctor, I'm like, dude, I'm not getting anywhere fucking near her.
That is the only reason he's there. He better go do what the fucking priest is telling him.
And then he goes, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. And Emily says, and the Word was a wonderful word, and what a word it was. And General Cornwallis is like, through him all things remain. Without him nothing was made, and that has been made. And the 70 disciples returned again with joy, saying, Lord, even the devils are subject unto us through thy name. And the doctor's like, her fucking heart's racing. It's almost 180 beats per minute. Here's my problem. It hasn't been a minute. It's been 10 seconds. He's either really good at counting and doing fucking math.
Top notch.
Top notch, right?
Top
He's
notch,
done this
yeah,
enough.
yeah,
That's why.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You can put a fucking thing on someone's finger, and it says what their beats per minute is within seconds. All right, this doctor knows what he's doing.
So General Cornwallis is like, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. Behold, I give you power to tread on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. And she goes, nothing? And then a fucking snake falls from the fucking ceiling and just bites General Cornwallis right on the neck. He's like, oh, fuck. And this thing like lands right next to him and just slithers away.
Yeah. Not venomous, apparently.
Yeah, not venomous either. He could have picked any snake that was venomous, but didn't.
I guess not any. Deborah had the snakes nearby to choose from.
That's a good point.
I guess she can't like go out to Arizona, get a rattlesnake, and be like, all right, drop on him.
He's like, okay, yeah, you want to hit me with that? Well, here's a cross, bitch. Throws a cross at her, and it fucking fucks her up. It hits her, and she's like, ah, get it off, get it off.
It hits her and like stays on
it
her
like sticks,
chest,
yeah.
like chest,
it's
neck
like
area
burning
right here,
her.
like just sticks to her.
Yeah, it's like literally burning her. And then as she's screaming, get it off, the doctor like runs over to like try and like kind of like monitor her, and she just fucking grabs him by the throat like it's fucking Kane rising up in the fucking middle of the ring, and just kind of like, I don't even know. It didn't really show that well, but kind of like throws him or something, like just chokes him for a little bit and like lets him go.
Kane.
We were cutting back and
the Undertaker's brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Yeah. I did. So they talk about another Kane coming up, and I thought you were referring to that.
Oh fuck. God damn it. You're right. Probably should have said the Undertaker instead.
Hey, you're fine doing that. I was like, oh shit, Brayden just made a cool reference.
So then General Cornwallis is like, release him, demon. I command you in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. And she's fucking hissing. And General Cornwallis is like, tell me your name, wicked one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He who commands you is he who ordered you to throw down from the highest heaven into the depths of hell. In the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, I now command you, tell me your name. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hear, therefore, and fear Satan, enemy of the faith. Give me your name, demon. Names. This is where. Names. I give you names. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then.
Real quick. She says it here.
Again?
She also said it in the room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What did I say was going to happen if you ever fucking correct me again? I said we're going to have a real fucking problem.
Oh,
all right?
shit.
So we got a real fucking problem now, man. Let's go.
General Cornwallis.
Fuck you.
Okay, bro. Okay.
Keep going.
Ancient serpents, depart from this servant of God. Tell me your 6 names. We are the ones who dwell within. I am the one that dwelt within Cain. I am the one that dwelt with Nero.
Cain.
Differently spelled.
Yeah, but Cain and Abel, it was the first murder. So this is the same demon that caused Cain to, I mean, in the fucking Bible. It probably didn't really fucking happen. But this is the same demon that caused Cain to kill Abel and commit the first murder ever.
Yeah. And she's changing voices throughout this. I am the one that dwelt with Nero. I once dwelt with Judas.
Judas turned on Jesus.
Yeah.
Turned him into the Romans.
Yep.
Kissed him on the cheek. Romans killed the fuck out of Jesus because of that.
And I was with...
You know what Judas did?
Huh?
Killed himself. What a fucking loser.
Come on.
I can't believe I did that. And then he hung himself. Fucking loser.
And I was with Legion. I am Belial. And I am Lucifer, the devil in the flesh. And as this happens, there's like lightning going on and off, and the lightning like stopped, and you see like light in the pits of her fucking eyes as she's like, I am Lucifer, the devil within. And dude, I mean, beautiful fucking acting.
Yeah, Deborah Morgan nailed it.
Then a fucking horse breaks fucking free. Emily starts screaming uncontrollably, and her Emily's father.
Because he's the fucking priest he hasn't stopped doing exorcism shit.
Yeah,
and that's why she's screaming.
Yeah, she's screaming, and the horse breaks out. The father tries to like
her dad
tries to go like stop the horse from fleeing. The horse knocks him the fuck out. just like one boop, he goes fucking flying, and the doctor is still on the ground, just petrified or something.
As one would be.
Yeah, as one would be. And what's funny is General Cornwallis, because, General Cornwallis does not skip a beat, cool under pressure, confident as always. He starts screaming, "Doctor, help the father!" Yeah. And the doctor does not help. So he's like, all right, I guess I got to stop this exorcism. Yeah, what a liability, right? Stopped it right at its fucking peak. And the moment that General Cornwallis breaks his attention on Deborah, she immediately faints and becomes unconscious. And that's the end of the exorcism. And he treats the doctor, or the father, who's like knocked the fuck out.
Yeah. Doctor's fault. I don't know if we said this. This is all, he's playing the tape in court.
Yes, so this is a flashback. He
recorded the exorcism, so we're seeing the flashback, but this is him playing the tape of like the audio of all of this in court.
Yes. And so immediately after that, we come back to court. And it's kind of funny because immediately, like when she's like walking off, she's like, okay, like nothing else like that. I just needed that to basically be played. That's good for me. Did you just see them fucking like writing down as much shit, and he gets back up.
This is the
Ethan Thomas
prosecutor.
Yeah, the prosecutor. And he basically makes it about how, like, okay, they're
talking about how she spoke all these different languages, and oh my god. And
it's about the vocal cord. Yeah.
He's like, did you know that human beings have 2 sets of vocal cords? And the Cornwallis is like, no, I didn't. He's like, okay. Did you know that at Emily's school, German was offered as a...
Well, she studied ancient Greek, Hebrew, Latin, Aramaic.
Yeah, and
Aramaic.
Then in your own church, Father, she took these courses where she studied Aramaic and Hebrew and all of that. It's like, so why the fuck could she not speak the languages that she learned and use the second set of vocal cords that all motherfucking humans have? Huh, Cornwallis?
Well, he does say, she didn't study Aramaic, but like she did somewhat study those other ones. But then
he didn't
Thomas
say she didn't. He said she could have. Yeah,
I think he said, I don't believe she studied Aramaic.
No, the priest says that. He's like,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but fucking, he doesn't know that. He's like, do you know for sure? He's like, no. He's like, all right.
Yeah, and then, once again, so he's using that as a way to try and dismiss, the different voices, the vocals.
She's been exposed to all these languages. Human beings have 2 sets of vocal cords.
Well, it's funny because he goes, have you ever heard that, Tibetan monks, they can train themselves to use both vocal cords.
Tibetan.
Tibetan.
The name of the country is Tibet.
Tibetan monks. It's just, I guess, the way they spell it.
I think that's how you spelt it.
Maybe.
Yeah. You're reading your notes. Nobody.
You're right.
Nobody wrote that for you.
You're right. But yeah. All right. So he's trying to say though, like, Tibetan monks are the ones that are like able to use both their vocal cords. So like, why the fuck can't she? And it's like, dude, what do you mean? Like, they're like training their whole life for that. Which, to come to find out, that's actually a goof. That's apparently, like, I guess not true.
I don't know. Just lie. Who the fuck? Jury doesn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cornwallis ain't gonna call you on that shit. Just lie, Ethan Thomas.
Yeah, and basically just tries to make it seem like everything was just nonsense that we just heard.
He's like, she's going through psychosis and she knows those languages. It's fucking doesn't mean there's demons possessing her. We learned nothing based off of this, is what he's saying.
Yeah, and then the overprofessional assistant runs back up to Janet from Primal Fear and says, "Hey, the doctor's nowhere to be found." Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, we lost the doctor.
Yeah.
I don't
and
know
she's like, Judge, I need a recess. And she's like, you've been making us fucking wait, okay? You've been late? No. And then the fucking...
She explained, she's like, a witness who came forward and wanted to testify has not been able to be found today. And the judge grants her the recess. So we'll reconvene tomorrow, 9:30, sharp.
Sharp, motherfucker. So I mean, immediately, you could tell Janet's like, what the fuck? Where is he? Like, talking to her assistant and everything. She walks out the building, and he's just like right off to the side of the building. Like, it's like the same spot.
I love the assistant was like, I went to his house, I couldn't find him. I've been calling him. I went where we were gonna meet. Nothing. I checked this fucking doctor's office. There's nothing. He's disappeared off the face of the earth. And then she just walks out of the courthouse. She walks outside and he's just there.
Yeah.
She's like, hey,
Once
the
again,
fuck?
Once again, just like feeding fucking pigeons, I'm pretty sure.
No,
he's not.
Yeah,
But he's like, you could tell he's like timid, and he's like, tell General Lord Cornwallis, I'm sorry. Tell him, I know demons are real, and I admire his courage for standing and speaking against them. Tell him I know what they can do. And then like notices something behind her in like daylight, and like gets scared, takes a couple steps back, and boom, gets fucking ran over by a car.
So notices something behind her. He's possessed.
Yeah.
He notices demons. It's
Yes.
not, like he is seeing stuff that
We don't
other
see
people
it.
don't see. Yeah. And then gets hit by a car.
And it immediately just like pops to her in her office, just like drinking, and her boss comes in and just like
He shits on her.
he just
like,
shits on her like what
I told you not to put him on the stand, you fucking idiot. He's like,
lays a newspaper down in
the
front of her.
the archdiocese is pissed. Everyone's upset. No, we're not pulling you off the case because you fucked it up and we can't give it to another lawyer. And I'll tell you one thing. If you put him on the stand again, you will be fired.
Boom. And that's basically
And guys, it's been 30 minutes. We're going to help the editing process, and we'll be right back. So stick around. And we're back.
We are back.
Hey, Derek Jeter. Fuck you.
God, dude.
Team A-Rod, baby.
I don't think a fucking General Cornwallis could save his life.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely. So we're back in General Cornwallis's jail cell. Man, and bad news. Janet from Primal Fear tells him, Dr. Cartwright is fucking dead.
But when she comes in, he goes, you look like you've been crying. Immediately.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I have been. He goes, well, give me a smile, baby girl. Why are you looking so sad?
She said, we've lost.
All right. Hey.
This testimony is over.
Hey. I want you to look sexy, all right? You give me a smile. You do a little twirl for me. You come into my cell. We play by my rules. So she did. She smiled, and she gave him a little twirl. And she's like, do I look pretty, Daddy? And he said, yeah, why don't you come over here and sit on my lap? All right, go on.
And then says, telling Emily's story as she's sitting on the lap.
Deborah Morgan.
Yeah. And
She tells him that homeboy's dead.
And he's just grabbing her, and he's like, telling Emily's story is all that matters.
Right?
It doesn't matter about Dr. Cartwright.
Right? His life was meaningless.
Meaningless.
Him being dead means nothing to me.
He's a part of Emily's story.
I need to tell Emily's story. I need to tell Deborah Morgan's story.
And then he's like, but the fucking attacks, they're not going to goddamn stop, all right? You better be fucking prepared.
You better be ready. Don't you let them win.
And they're not going to stop? Guess when? Until Emily's story is told.
Deborah Morgan's
Deborah Morgan's story is told. So you better fucking tell it. Or allow me to fucking tell the rest.
All right. He spits in her face.
Yeah.
And he makes her go get him a Gatorade.
That's right. So, next day, obviously, she
I
allows...
don't know why. That was my favorite thing that I've ever said, maybe. When he made the little sister go get him the Gatorade. Just because it's such a bananas sociopathic way to handle that. You just raped her older sister. He rapes the older sister, and then when he's done, he looks at the younger sister and said, why don't you go get me a Gatorade?
Oh, my God, dude.
I'm winded. I got to replenish some fluid. Why don't you go get Daddy a Gatorade?
That absurdity is just so fucking comical.
Be fucking great.
The General Cornwallis gives Janet from Primal Fear a note, which, I mean, it's a little, not late, but it's like...
It said, I like you, do you like me? And then it said yes, and it said no, and then maybe, and there are little boxes next to it. So he wants her to check off which one, like, yes, I like you too, no, I don't like you, maybe.
I mean, this is technically like abducted in plain sight.
Not at all.
No? Okay.
Not at all. No.
But
everyone's adults.
I was kind of surprised. Emily was like, what the fuck is this? Why are you now just giving me this note that's from Emily the day after the exorcism?
Janet Venables.
Yeah.
And Deborah Morgan.
Yeah. My bad.
Both characters were Emily, and there is no Emily, all right? There's no Emily. Janet Venables. Yeah, she's like, why the fuck are you giving me this now? Fuck you.
Yeah.
All right?
So
I'm going to lose my job because of you. And you're just like, oh, well, here's a letter. that dead girl wrote. Maybe this will help.
And the next day on in the court case, as he's on trial, it kind of becomes about like, and Janet from Primal Fear is like, why did God allow Emily to become possessed by demons and then die?
So she calls Cornwallis up to the stand again.
Yeah.
So I want to recall that witness.
My bad.
Her boss walks out of the courtroom.
Which means she's immediately fired.
Yeah.
And from what we heard,
he said if you put him on the stand again, you're fired.
Yeah.
So she does that and he just walks out.
And so she ends up getting into asking him, why did God allow Emily to become possessed by demons and then die? And immediately Thomas is like, again?
He's like, objection, Your Honor. This case is now, why does God let terrible things happen?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Fucking nuts.
And then, General Cornwallis is like, I can let Emily answer that. And then begins like reading the note. And the note is
I'll just say what it basically says.
Yeah, basically. She basically wakes up with what is essentially really more so probably a dream. But she goes outside.
I don't want your fucking opinion. Just say what she said.
Yeah. So she goes outside. She goes to a fucking tree, and the Virgin Mary starts talking to her and basically tells her like, hey, listen, you could suffer through this pain and you can continue to stay in your body, because she ends up having like an outer body experience where she can see her body on the ground. And now she's almost like a ghost figure talking to this tree, which is the Virgin fucking Mary. And Virgin Mary is like saying, hey, listen, you can continue to suffer in your body to be able to showcase and spread basically,
let the world know
what's going.
Demons exist. This is what's going on.
And use it as a way to empower people into their faith. Or you can just come with me now and the pain and suffering will be done. And Emily, basically writes that she chose to do it to help others out. Like, she is suffering for others. And therefore, General Cornwallis considers her and believes that she will be accepted as like a saint in heaven.
She also woke up with the wounds of Christ on her hands and feet. And they miraculously...
Yeah, we see her when she chooses. She comes back to her body, and she has what David said, the wounds like Jesus had on her hands.
The wounds of Christ.
The wounds of Christ. And what's funny is in the same court case, they start to go over, what it could potentially be. And we see a shot of her just like...
So the fucking judge, so he does a whole thing where he's like, Emily's going to be a saint. So now Ethan Thomas is giving his closing argument to the jury.
Yeah.
And he's like, Emily, that's a really nice story that they tried to tell about her having the wounds of Christ miraculously. She had already shown signs of self-harm. What really happened is there's barbed wire fencing all around. It's a fucking horse cattle ranch.
Yeah.
She did it to herself on the fencing, and we see her like holding it like she's like
in a trance. Like, she's literally like, she does not notice pain.
Yeah, and she's just squeezing the barbed wire.
Like, almost as if it feels good or something,
Yeah,
because you would think your nerves would like make you let go from pain,
The pain feels good.
Yeah.
It's the release.
Which is fucking crazy.
That's why I cut so often.
But that's fucking scary, though. That's like a point to me that's scary.
That's why I cut myself, because I
you want to feel the rush.
Feeling the release. It's a release, not so much a rush. It's like
you feel like you're alive.
I'm relieving something. Exactly. I feel the
okay.
pain. I'm releasing all of that pent up tension.
Oh, that makes
great.
sense. Yeah.
I highly suggest it.
But yeah, so he's hoping that she's like a saint now and this and that, but Thomas is just like basically not having it and basically saying like, no, she's just grabbing a barbed wire fence like
he's
said.
shitting on it. He's saying, this is closing an argument. He's saying Emily is a sick girl and the fucking priest let her die with his voodoo magic and didn't let her get treatment.
Yeah, because General Cornwallis is saying she's a saint. He's like, she suffered because she was sick, not because she is a saint. And like, that's what I want you guys to think. I want you guys to remember, jury, as you are making your final decision, I want you to think about Emily when she was young and alive.
Yeah. So that's his closing argument. Just, he did it, blah, blah, blah. Venables then gives her closing argument, and she nails it.
Yeah.
Because it's what the fucking court of law is. She says, look, I don't know. She's like, I have no idea what really happened with Deborah Morgan. What I am positive of is that we cannot prove beyond a reasonable doubt
for a fact
that General Cornwallis is guilty of this.
Mm-hmm.
She created reasonable. That is all her job was to do. Create reasonable doubt, and she fucking nailed it.
Yeah,
there's reasonable doubt. She's like, put aside your beliefs, all of that. He believed it. He loved Emily. There's other people who believed it, and in Emily's own words, she believed it.
Yeah. Like, was she truly being negligent? Or was he, truly being negligent?
And did they prove beyond a reasonable doubt? The answer is no.
Was another great line I forgot to say that he said it was the devil that did this to Emily Rose. Or it was not the devil that did this to Emily Rose. It was the defendant.
Yeah,
and points at him like, it was him.
This guy's great.
It was fucking him. It wasn't the devil.
Closing arguments are given.
Yeah.
The jury came to a conclusion. Guilty.
Fucking guilty. But.
And so the judge is like, all right, we're going to do sentencing in 10 days, blah, blah, blah. And Venable, she cuts in. She's like, hey, Your Honor, you might remember at the beginning of the case, my client asked if found guilty that he be sentenced immediately. The judge is like, yeah, I remember that. And then she asks him some questions, and the jury pipes up. They're like, well, Your Honor, if we can give you a suggestion. Ethan Thomas is like, no suggestions. And the judge is like, it's just a suggestion.
Listen, I'm a fucking listen.
And I want to fucking hear it.
Yeah.
And they said, we would like the sentence to be time served.
Yep.
I have a humongous issue with that.
Tell me.
I have a fucking humongous issue with that.
I want to hear it.
The jury found him guilty. That means they feel
that
the prosecution proved beyond a reasonable doubt that he is guilty and he is responsible for this young girl being dead.
Yeah, negligence. Yeah, like it was because of his negligence.
He is guilty. It is his fault. She's dead.
But
which carries a sentence of up to 10 years.
Yep.
But we don't think he should go to prison for just time served. He did his time. It's fine. That's fucking absurd. Because here's the thing. Prosecution did not prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he was guilty.
Yeah.
He should have been not guilty.
Because nothing was for a fact, and that was like the main closing argument.
Nothing was for a fact. Nothing was proven. The burden of proof is not on the defense.
Yeah.
It's on the prosecution. They did not prove that he was responsible. In this movie, in real life, they fucking could have. Who the hell knows? Mm-hmm. In this movie, they did not prove beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
The jury disagreed, but we're like, he shouldn't be in trouble for it.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane.
I mean, do they even have that kind of pool? Can they even say something like that? Or
they can suggest.
And it's just that it's up to the judge.
Just how it worked out. Yeah, the judge could be like, "Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
you did your part. This is my job now.
Yeah,
shut up."
Yeah,
fucking nonsense.
And then after that, fucking Janet from Primal Fear's boss is just kissing her fucking ass.
Yeah,
she's like, "Oh, we're going to put your name on the front door. We're going to be partners now."
They're treating it like a win, which it's not.
It's not.
She fucking lost the court case.
But
he's guilty.
But the archdiocese, they're kind of happy. So he's happy because they're really representing the archdiocese. They're not even representing fucking.
No, they're representing the fucking.
Yeah,
it's all about that.
It's all about that, baby. The church got the money.
Church got the money.
Come on. And yeah, so she basically tells him to kiss his ass, and she goes on her own fucking merry way.
Yeah, she's much nicer.
Virgin
about
merry
that.
way.
He says she's no virgin. She was banging Marty Bird, or not Marty Bird. Marty. I mean, yeah, she's married to Marty Bird.
Yeah,
but Marty Vale.
Mm.
She's banging him. She was balling. No, she was balling him. Christ, you were balling him for God's sake. So she's like, hey, he's like, so want to make you partner, or he said we have a senior partner position open, and she said, why don't you keep it? I mean, I don't want it.
She's too good. She
walks away.
She's too fucking good. One thing I forgot to say was a fun fact about Wendy Bird, or Janet from Primal Fear, is she apparently was actually experiencing at night, in the middle of the night, like around 3 a.m. That's what she said. This is something that she said.
But she's full of shit.
Hey.
But she's full of shit. No, she wasn't. Let's finish this.
Sounds pretty cool.
Sucking movie.
Oh, come on. It was kind of cool.
Let's finish it.
All right.
Do you not have the notes of the end?
What?
Did you not write what was on the headstone?
What?
She goes to Deborah Morgan's fucking headstone. Come on.
Huh.
That's where you ended your notes?
Where were you talking about? Where
Her and Cornwallis meet at Deborah Morgan's grave, and they talk. She asks him if he's going to be able to go back to the archdiocese. He says no. Once you see the darkness, it never leaves you.
Mm-hmm.
And then she comments on what is written on her headstone. And she said, who picked that out? And he said, I did. It's the last thing Deborah Morgan ever said to me. And I don't know what it said because I wasn't responsible for taking notes for this fucking episode.
I don't know.
So, guys, that was the exorcism of Emily Rose.
Well, no, the last thing that actually ends up happening is that she kind of she confronts her own demons by turning the fucking clock around. So she goes to sleep at night after that scene.
Yeah, but you missed that scene.
Yeah, fuck that scene.
That scene was
She makes her
important.
peace with General Cornwallis. Who gives a fuck?
Who gives a fuck about the two characters who are on the screen more than any other character?
No, obviously we can't.
Who gives a fuck about their relationship? Just say you forgot to take the note.
No. I genuinely didn't think it fucking mattered. I was gonna bring up that they ended up meeting up and talking like a little bit, but I don't know. I didn't feel like it was that important. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, you're wrong.
I guess I am.
Yeah.
I felt like what was more important was the next scene of her confronting her fucking demons by turning the clock
But
around.
you don't have that written down either. You just remembered it.
No, I know. I have it memorized. Yeah. Like that wink?
I didn't see your wink.
I gave you a wink. Well, guys, that's The Exorcism of Emily Rose. I think it's a fucking cool movie because it's so realistic. The realism was fucking phenomenal. They did a great job with the filmmaking of this, even though it wasn't anything like crazy that was happening with fucking, I don't know, the way that they were shooting it or anything like that. Like they just honed in on what they really were trying to show, and I felt like they did a good job about it.
But you know what movie's even cooler?
The Nutty Professor.
Nutty Professor, guys. Name a cooler movie. Name a cooler movie. Name a cooler actor than Eddie Murphy. You fucking can't. Get the fuck out of my face. Go get me a Gatorade.
Yeah.
You know what movie is also even cooler?
No.
'Tis the season. It's getting a little chilly. There's going to be some snow. Guys, it's Christmas time. Here's what we're doing. I'm picking a Christmas movie.
Fuck.
Braden's going to pick one after me, and then I want you guys, send us some Christmas movies. Send us a movie. It's going to be the day after Christmas when we do yours, based on scheduling here. Maybe we do a Christmas Day release. Who knows?
Who knows?
Send us a Christmas movie, but we're doing mine. And guys, we did the first installment last year. This year we're doing Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, Macaulay Culkin, Joe Pesci. Of course we're doing it. There wasn't even another Christmas movie I considered.
You didn't even look it up. You're just like, this is the one.
Do you guys want to watch Home Alone 2, Lost in New York before we do the podcast on Home Alone 2, Lost in New York? You should watch Home Alone 2, Lost in New York before we do the podcast on Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. Here's where you can do watch Home Alone 2, Lost in New York before we do a podcast on Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. It's available on Disney Plus with a subscription, which isn't much more than $3.99. So you might as well get a fucking Disney Plus subscription. Just cancel it.
Might as well.
Watch all the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Watch season 1 of Loki.
Make it worth it.
Yeah, just fucking go all out. Watch Toy Story. You can also rent it for $3.99 on YouTube, Google Play, Apple TV. You can go to Redbox and get it, Vudu, or Amazon Prime Video for $3.99. Guys, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. That's what we're doing.
Nice.
So, Braden, we're doing Home Alone 2, Lost in New York next week because it's my pick for the Christmas movie streak we're doing here. We're going to do yours the following week. But where do they tell us what Christmas movie to do?
David.
You know, everyone needs to go. You need to go suggest a Christmas movie for the 5-6 Kings to do it. They know they need to do that.
Do it.
But they're like, yeah, we're dying to do it. Of course we're going to do it. David's telling us to do it. But, Braden, where do they do that?
Oh, David, so simple. They just go to our website, 56kings.com.
Hold on. FIVESIXKING.com.
Yes.
And what is there? Just like a tab at the top that says submit ideas. You click on that, you go in, you say the movie you want, you say who you want doing it, and you say who you are so we can give you a shout out and be like, great suggestion, we're picking it.
David, That's exactly right.
I mean, that's fucking wild, guys. It's that easy. What are you waiting for? Go to 56kings.com, your one-stop shop for all things 56 Kings. Tell us the movie.
Yeah.
But Braden, so they know where to go for that.
Yeah.
Great. Oh, simple enough. Go to 56kings.com. But like once they do that and they tell us the movie to do and we end up doing it, when will it come out? When do new episodes of 56 Kings come?
Oh, David, it's every motherfucking Monday.
Unless it's not.
Yeah, unless it's not. But it's
every motherfucking Monday unless it's not, guys.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Every motherfucking Monday unless it's not. I don't know how we could be more clear. People are like, well, it's Monday. Where's the 56 Kings episode? It's not. This is the unless it's not.
Thank you.
It's it's what we've been saying the whole time. Every motherfucking Monday, unless it's not. I don't know how we can be more clear about this, guys. It is every motherfucking Monday, unless it's not.
There you go.
So, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Home Alone 2 Lost in New York next week. Get stoked.
Oh, so stoked.
And we'll see y'all next week.
Peace out.
Bitch, I'm from Palm Beach County, that's where I'm from. When niggas get done